สียงอะไรอะ
สวัสดีน้องบาทแดงครับผม
อ๋อเสียงมันกดอีโมดหนวกหูยิบหาย
อ๋อจำได้แล้วไอ้เลนนี่คืออันที่เสียงมันใช่ไหม
ตอบหมดทันรีแรมเลยปิดเสียงแม่ง
วันนี้
EL
เหมือนเดิมทำไมคนเจอทีมเก่าต้องลั่นเป็นพิเศษด้วยงงว่ะซูชิบอลวันนี้ลั่นแบบ โอ้ my god เหลือคนสุดท้ายแม่งแบบอันตรายจัด
ดูชีโบยลัน
7 ปอมันมีทีซีคอมกับ
ผมว่า TL ชนะจริงเนี่ยไม่ได้กวนตีนเนี่ย
เฮ้ย ใช่เหรอ
เออ
เตะศูนย์เหรอ ไอฮีเรติกตอนเนี้ย
มันเหมือนมันมีของอะ TL อะเฉพาะกับเฮลิติกนะ
เคยได้ยินมาว่าคนเรามันไม่แพ้ไปตลอด
มันก็จริงอะ
โอ้โห
เฮ้ยไอโซวูด
แมปแรกขออนุญาตเปิดก่อน1-0ครับผมฮีเรติกฮะ โอ้โห สวยอยู่เฮ้ยแมนยูวันไหนนะครับ21ป่ะครับผม
มาเริ่มแล้ว
Well, that's really the question coming into this, right? Was yesterday a blip? Was that Fnatic on playoff form? Or were Heretics looking a little weaker as the tournament went on? This is the challenge that they faltered at last time. The 3-0, as you said, Tom, Team Liquid took it with flying colors. But now, a new challenge, a new day. Let's see if Heretics are up to this challenge. Already, you're going to see some aggression. The shield popped on ISO, and the control taken, but it's this middle battle for Serial. Looking to find that opening pick. The flash is good, and the pick goes to Heretics.
แจกไปก่อนเลย1ครับผม
They were looking for Fanatec quick to respond,
ปรี
though.
วูด
Putting things back into an even scenario. The retakes maybe not being
เดิ
the
นเป็น
best
ส่วน
for
หลังบ้าน
Liquid,
เลย
but
เป็นจี้
the fact
ดู
is
จัด
already a man to the good. They're in a good position here, and Camo strikes, leaving
Oi.
just one step.
Oi, Miniboo.
One is Miniboo. He's been having an
Oi.
insane
Lord.
tournament. Even spots
You
out the last man. But that last man is Nat. Maybe one of the few that could match him. But with an open
Nat เชื่อเปล่า
plant, he will reposition
เชื่อ
back
เปล่าเชื่อ
towards
เปล่า
middle.
He goes for the full wraparound. He might not
อย่าง
have
นี้ไม่
time.
เชื่ออย่าง
Already
นี้ไม่
put
เชื่อ
under pressure by that clock. The tap from Nats has to confirm that it's not being
นี่
diffused.
ไง
นี่
ไม่
ไง
เชื่อไม่เชื่อเหรอ
Falling
Mini
victim
Boo.
to fourth for Mini Boo. He might have been quieter yesterday, but a Red Bull clutch to kick off this BO5.
This is why I always want to see the Heretic squad pick this map of Haven. I feel like it gives them that momentum boost at the start of every single series. They've been playing it throughout the entirety of the tournament. And for Miniboo, you mentioned it. I don't even think he had a poor performance. He had probably his worst performance we've seen the entire stage. He has been the highest ACS player all the way through stage 1. And yesterday he was missing. Well, today, he's already pulled off an absurd clutch and we are one round in.
Great signs of what's to come. Now, Team Liquid might be one of the strongest teams when it comes to those anti-ecos, and they've even invested in themselves here, given an opportunity to take it across the line with 3 sheriffs in play. So definitely somewhere that they need to be careful, but touching on the veto, Tom, Ascent up next, definitely a map that looks stronger for Liquid. You look at that defensive side, and it's going to be a lot for Heretics to break through. So I really agree with you. This is somewhere that we need to see Heretics have that strong start if they're going to have that heartbeat in the series. 'Cause the next, I have a little bit of doubt about how competitive it will be.
I am surprised we didn't see Liquid pick split though. I feel like although they've had a few blips there, that was kind of where I thought their strength truly would lie. And, they lost to, I think, some very good anti the last couple of times it was played. I think Ascent, when you have that double duelist again, like we've seen Wolf picking up the operator. I don't know. I think there's still opportunities on that next one, but I do see what you mean. This is where we truly have those expectations. And while that 1-2 punch, we've seen the one in the last round, this is the second.
Team Heretics, an easy opportunity most of the time. Like we said, Team Liquid, they present dangers, but a lot of this danger was towards A, was that short double stack up where they looked to pick them apart as Team Heretics split the control, but the C-long push, the opening pick for them as well, and now a safe post plant, that's a lot of the danger averted. Those pistols now have to push into
เฮ้ย
you.
มันซื้อเชอรี่ไปตั้งเยอะไม่สู้เนี่ย
Well, Nats is obviously waiting for a lurk, waiting for someone to come peeking around, but
เก็บไปยิงตาหน้า
they'll just be playing the exits here, not throwing themselves at the round to try to win it, but still trying to make it costly a little bit later.
Worst case, you go down to the spike, stop some of those high impact ultimates from coming online, and well, Benji's going to be the one hunting down the kills. Maybe not the person I'd be expecting to go forward with the Marshal, but at this stage it was all about getting out of there, and the remaining 2 will just go down to that spike. Heretics keep it clean enough, and will now look to try and see what they can do here versus
ส
the
ลับ
full
ปืน
buy
กับ
of
มินิ
Liquid.
บูเปล่า
As we said for Team Liquid, that attempt to take weapons out of hands doesn't really go according to plan. Team Heretics avoid most of the danger, so a solid start to this map. Round 3, though, where we see those rifles come into play on both sides. A couple of weaknesses for Team Heretics, but due to how they bought up, they're still in good form. And that Marshal, we've seen it do a ton of damage in these round 3s before. So
แต่ก็ไม่พออ
no
ยู่ดีเพราะว่า
comfort
เขา
for Team Liquid. No easy round to be
เขาจัด
offered up.
เกาะ
I like
เต็ม
the
เลย
double
เมื่อกี้
stack up early on A long, but, well, Heretics have already seen it.
Well, yeah, I think what you always have to be careful of in lower buy rounds like this is how explosive this composition can be from Heretics. You're coming up with the ISO that obviously gives you that first ability to take a shot without going down, and then Miniboo can just take himself across the map in a matter of seconds. So they have to be very aware. It's where I think this double sentinel will definitely help them out. And I'm looking at the C site right now. There is an abundance of utility ready to try and slow this push.
Yeah. Liquid usually very good at those round 2s. Heretics very good at the round 3s as
ทำ
well.
ไมภาพมันดูแบบ
Some of the best in
ไม่
the
Full
league as
HD
well.
แล้ว
See if it adds up to success with the punchy comp showing its face towards C. We've seen rotations, but that's because of this position from Camo.
ไม่อยากเจ็บอย่าง
It's
นี้
up
พี่
and
เน็ต
short. Although Woot's being dropped, the push is coming towards Camo. He'll have to do well to grab the information and get out. And look at that. Doesn't overstay his welcome. Spots a few and backs off. Ready for the fight with his teammates.
This gives that extra little bit of support. Here, the backup. Ready in position. Paranoia even there to slow them down. And the second Paranoia has actually been dodged. I think Camo pulled a pistol out. That's a bit of a blip. In fact, a massive blip with one coming up. Panattack might just be there to save the day though. Benji so low on HP, but he still wins the fight. And Boo comes up with another, leaving only Serial remaining. He had so many fantastic clutches in the match yesterday and already kicks this one off with a bang. Leaving him facing off against Benji on the other side. 21 HP, but the time on his side.
Slowly ticking away, a patient player.
ลัดซีน A ช็อตครับเพื่อนบอก
Like you said, that one bullet needed to
เห็นไหม
take him down.
ลัดซีน A ช็อต
Serial
ดูดิ
has to make the right call though. Spotting out that angle, and he's seen him.
Yeah.
The Benji's hot on the trigger.
แล้วไปเตะจังหวะ
A
2 ด้วย
third
นะ
kill for him and a third
หันไปมอง
round
เล
for
ยเฮ้ย
Team Heretics.
บอกแล้วซีน A
It's
ช็อต
always the danger, even with those weaknesses. They've got the rifles, and that punchy play works out. But I'm so confused about what we saw here. Camo takes a pistol out, and well, he's caught unaware.
I want to say that was like a fat finger or something. Like
Yeah,
it
it's a
just
mistake.
slipped and just accidentally brought the pistol out because it doesn't really make any sense in that scenario. I also want to mention round 1 and round 3 are now clutches that have been won by a player with barely any HP left. Like that has got to weigh on your mind a little bit if you're over on that Liquid side because you are in a position where these rounds are very much winnable. There's opportunities for, well, very good opportunities for you to take them over the line. And it's clutched out by one of the players over on that Heretic side.
อย่าโบกนะ Let's go take part.
Server there, Tom. That number on the top hasn't moved for a minute.
It didn't go red.
It did not yet. Not
It
yet.
hasn't gone red.
Any moment now, Tom. I do agree with you though. Like you said, seeing the fact that two big clutches, two
I see a
low
little
HP
bit of red
clutches.
and I really don't like it.
Yeah, we've got Sentinels fans in for the lower final. That's quite a journey, I'd imagine. But yeah, it's going to weigh on your mental. If you're Team Liquid, having those rounds slip out of your grasp like that, this could very easily be them with a commanding lead early on. This is a map that they want to compete on early. Hell, if you want to shut this series down, get that 3-0 that you had last time. Good start on this map will certainly help out. Doesn't look like they're destined for that just yet. One thing to keep an eye on as the game goes on, though, is a man like Nats, someone that was able to turn the tide of a lot of the rounds the last time they faced. I think he was 9-1 in opening duels as a Sentinel. When they came towards him, or when they left that space behind, he was capitalizing on it every time. And it was Benji having a tough time staying alive into those late rounds. And that gap of utility, we even saw it yesterday, cost them a lot when it came to Icebox. No doubt those are two things that Heretics will be looking to remedy coming into today. The elbow shown and out more than enough to take you down.
ต่อกระจุยเมื่อกี้
Yeah, I think to touch on what you were saying about Nats, I think we're seeing him in some of the best form in a while. Like I think the switch up to IGL did take a little bit of toll, but I think you can see that the comfort's now there, just in terms of him not only being a leader, but then also being able to be one of the best, if not the best side anchor we have in the entirety of the league right now. He has had some absurd performances. This round would probably have to be the best of them. Full force of Team Heretics. Only a pistol, and his teammates not particularly close.
No, they're clear too. They know those little tricks. They know you got to clear those corners.
I don't think they know all of
them now. They
That's
know
a bold claim.
They know the ones that he showed last time. They won't be falling for them again. A 4-0 start seems destined now for Team Heretics. Team Liquid sending up that early play by Patatek, but Benji is watching it like a hawk. Even had backup from Woot, leaving Camo all alone, 1v5. And the question of damage, a valid one to ask, but the economy so stacked up in the attacker's favor already that, I mean, it's almost a necessity that a couple of those weapons are dropped, or you were going to find it very hard to break the bank of Team Heretics.
Well, this is the problem. It's not only a map that they thrive at, but it really does seem like the second that momentum gets going, they're almost impossible to stop. Like, you're talking about them slamming teams like Fnatic 13-5 on this map. They stole their comp. Like, that was literally
จะพูดถึงการตายบอม
You've got
มี
a
ข้อ
great
ดี
idea. We're
เยอะ
going to
อีก
take
นะ
that and 13-5 you with it.
เว
Like,
ลา
you know how
จังหวะ
absurd
เสียเยอะ
that
มัน
is to be
แบบ
able to do to
กัน
improve
ฝั่งข้าม
on
สโนว์บอล
what already seemed to be an
จัง
incredibly
หวะ
good
บางครั้งสู้
composition.
มาแม่งโดน
Then
ฝั่ง
you
ข้าม
throw
ยังติดก็
momentum
ว้าวุ่นอยู่
with
นะ
these players that we know have some of the highest peak in individual brilliance. It really is a
จริงๆ
terrifying prospect
ต้องคำนวณนะ
already.
ต้อง
Four
คำนวณ
rounds in,
รู้
it
ได้
seems
ว่า
like we are going to get a
ที
tactical
ตาย
pause
บอม
from Liquid,
อยู่
and
อะไร
I don't mind it. Like,
วันนี้
you've
ตาย
now
บอล
got a
ได้
good
ตัด
buy.
ดี
This
เลย
is where you're coming in with an ult or two to play with, or at least some getting close by.
เป้า
And
พี่
what
บู
you've
เหมือน
lost to
เล่น
so
เองแบบ
far, I don't think has been like you've lost
ให้
two
3
rounds where you were
1
eco and 2 rounds where it came down to
ชนะไม่ต้องถามว่าให้ใคร
like it could be a very different story, but you now need to step into things.
พี่เลยให้ลิควิด3-1
Yeah, that 4-0 start, as we said, the moneymaker round that you just saw, it's going to leave Heretics with a lot of bank to fall back on. You talk about ults, but favored for the attacking side. Also having Yoru's ultimate. No doubt Minibu's going to want to deploy that. He is on form right now, 7-2. He'll be back on before too long. And he's going to be using that to clear out a lot of space. For Liquid, they need a response to this early performance. And I mean, not a lot of teams have had it. Like you said, there's been great performances from Heretics. It's what, a 4-win streak now when it comes to Haven. Sure, there's a lot of tape, but it's difficult to match pound for pound with what's on the server today.
Also, the tape for half the teams is just them getting blasted. It's like, right, so if Woot runs at you and insta headshots, you don't let that happen. Like, it's very difficult to counter a composition that, at its core, is
แล้ว
fairly
ปูยก
basic,
ไมเคิลโอเว่น
but
นี่
the
โหดปะ
intricacies of how they use it is what makes it more complex. And a lot of the other times as well, when, as you said, when those ult
ไม่รู้
come
แต่
online, you can have Miniwood take space and then Woot take the player. So it ruins any setup, any ideas that you have. So it really is complex to play against. And although I really do
โอ้แต่ยุค
like
นั้น
the
ไม่อยู่
amount
ให้
of
ของ
deadlock
แท้
we're
นะ
seeing from Serial, I want to see if this works for them because already is exactly what we're talking about. Just
แชมป์แบบ
mass
แชมป์จน
amounts of
เบื่อ
space, all the sensors
ยุ
being
คนี้
set
นี่
up as he runs through them with no effect. That's the
ลุ้น
whole
แชมป์
setup gone.
ลุ้นหนีตก
Both
ชั้นในยุคนี้
sensors
ตอน
have
เนี้
been
ย
tripped. A side's being
Yeah,
taken.
got-
Response though from Patatek. He's going to force the fight. Camo's the one to win it.
มาแล้วครับ
By the
คม
ultimate
กับคม
on the
เจอกัน
other side. Woot's pulled him
นี่
into
อ่ะ
the battle. But what? That he will not win. Camo's got
อย่า
another.
เพิ่งเสียความมั่นใจ
And the
วูด
A side now fully
จงยืน
retaken.
หยัดต่อ
Four
การ
players
ดวล
on the side. One in spawn. That leaves a gap. And one that Benji has
วิธี
slipped
การ
his
ปลอบ
way
ใจตัวเองเวลาดวล
into.
แพ้
Putting off
แม่ง
these
ลัคกี้ว่ะ
rotations.
สัตว์
If they go through B, will be easy. They take it through
How
spawn.
about you,
Still
เอ
a
อ
full setup on
จะ
the
ได้
other side.
จะได้ไม่คิดว่าเราเอม
And
สู้
a
ไม่ได้
massive man advantage for Team Liquid.
This is such a ratty position.
ดวลรอบหน้า
It
ได้
seems
มั่น
like
ใจ
they're well aware of the potential of someone flanking in towards the back of the A side, but it's more so once that spike goes
โพซิชั่น
down,
เบนจี้ดิ
are they
พร้อม
going to
ที่
be
จะ
ready to
เอา
try
เป็น
and
สัก
clear
ศพ
it?
อ่ะ
Cam still online.
ต้องมีอย่างต่ำหนึ่ง
Whatever
ด่าน
Nats
ด่าน
decides,
ดี
he
อ่ะ
will
Maybe
get
something.
that extra little bit of information. Unfortunately,
จะแม่งวิ่งซีทีมาแล้วเฮ้ยแต่ดีเลื้อยหลัง
difference maker here.
แม่งหนีด่าน
This
ตรวจ
is the
ว่ะ
way you expect to see the rotations from Team Liquid all the way through spawn. 5 players is what we needed because going through B, it's too much space that they've given up.
Oh,
Nats was even watching
มันคำนวณ
that
ไว้แล้วว่า
walk
มี
through B to spawn
สโมกปิด
this
ไปเลยครับ
whole round, essentially. Now playing for the retake, the paranoia already in. Reveal is good.
Huh?
Oh, still manages to win the fight through the cage. He's dropped Rien's. And a 4v2 that they're now left in. Patatek isolated in the spawn. But the spike
อู้ยิง
being
เพื่อนเก่าได้ลง
defused, they've got to get a move on and right into the waiting arms of Serial and Kiko. As the defuse comes full circle. A huge round for Camo. Gets one on the board for Team Liquid.
He had some unbelievable rounds in their matchup yesterday.
มันมีดีเวล
An
จริ
ace
ง
even to close it.
เมื่อกี้ถ้าพี่เหรียญได้
No one
คาโม
on the
อ่ะ
server
โอ้
that
ย
could
จริง
match
ภาพ
up
เลย
to his individual brilliance and while going toe to toe with Woot when he has a shield.
อ๋อโดนก็เห็นกัน
Pretty much says all you need to know. A 3K to get him on and up to the top of the board.
เกี่ยวเชี่ยเลยวะ
After using a couple of ultimates there.
กู
just
ส
to
แกน
try and
เจอ
get
มึงแต่เป็น
in
กู
on
ตาย
the early execution into the A side. Once that failed, it definitely became a lot tougher for Heretics. They're not shying away though, and neither is Camo.
กระสุนมันรีไม่ทันเหรอหรืออะไร
But it is only going to be the 1-for-1. That is, however, the smoke's gone for the side of Heretics.
Yeah, that's a
Wait,
big
hey,
spanner in the works for the attacking
Lee
side
Pao,
to
yeah.
work with now. What a set of rounds from Camo.
Gặp
High
đồn
impact
phòng.
trade early on, but that last round, even caught by the ISO ult and able to take down Woot. Well, you talk about how difficult it can be to deal with him when he's coming in popping heads.
ถ้าถามผมเชียร์ใครคู่นี้ผม
Wasn't
เชียร์
to be
ทั้งคู่
seen in
อะ
the previous. information off the Cypher ultimate. Team Heretics now know what they're up against. They see these players on site, but they're not deterred. Ultimate pop by Serial. He's going to be surprised.
ซีเรียสเลยโดนใบ
That ult popped and Benji's in with a double. The A site is theirs. Great reaction by Woot. Completely denying the what seemed to be safe play for Team Liquid and leaving them with a disadvantage on the retake.
No impact
ถูกป่ะ
from that annihilation. If it connects, that could have been a true difference maker. And Nat's trying to peek into the dog pick. I don't even think he saw anything before his head was ripped clean off. Nice shot from Kiko. Actually hits the Koreans as well. Still as crispy as ever. But it's Heretics to respond and
มันใช้จังหวะทีเผลอนะเมื่อกี้
high impact play from Benji. He's another that I think coming into the latest
สโมกกูไม่ออกไปยิงแบบนึกว่าจะวาร์ป
of split one has been a true force to be reckoned with. Again, didn't have the best of times. Thinking back to Icebox yesterday.
เพราะว่าไอ้ซีเรียลมันไม่คิดว่ามันจะโดนใบ
Just to take
ลืมไปว่าไอ้โซ่มีใบ
already in this map 9 and 2. Mini ball alongside him 8 and 4.
ถือว่าส
They're
ติ
having
ดีครับ
a cracking
ที่
start
วูด
to
ช็อต
this
นี้
map.
And wonderful reaction by Woot though. Suppressing Serial when the ultimate is popped. That's got to be frustrating. It would have been a free pick.
ชอบกันจริงๆ
Otherwise,
ไอ้สู้ตรงเนี้ย
he's a very close indeed. Blocked in the smoke by Boo. They can't pull that trick on this man. From the shadows, he's found a pick. Pistols for the majority of Team Liquid in this round. That was the one real hope that they had. And now that weapon is down on short in the open and irretrievable.
Benji Fishy.
It's always interesting to see how teams will sort of order the maps in a best of 5. Of course, you guarantee that 3 will be played. So sometimes if you have that first choice, you're going to put your best map in the 3rd slot. So even if the first couple haven't gone the right way,
PL มันต้องแบบ
definitely like this choice
ขาว
from Heretics.
ขาวฟ้า
We've said it before that it seems like even maps where they are considerably unfavored on, if they dominate the first, sometimes they'll just run it down on the series. Really nice net coming through from Serial, but it will only be good for the one.
รู้ว่าไม่
Just
รู้ว่าตัว
cleaning
ปลอม
up
ก็ยิง
house only.
ไม่รู้
ซีเรียลมันไม่บอกเพื่อนนะ
And it's Nats, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. They might be able to get one here, but anything else I think would have to be a miracle.
I like the fact that Mini
ผม
Boo's
เข้าใจว่า
already
ตัวปลอม
dead,
มัน
but
จะ
he
บอด
comes in and
บอด
shoots
ทุก
the
คน
decoy.
มาโดยตลอด
Just seeing that he's being caught by the net. Bit of a reaction diff. Team Heretics, 6 rounds locked in indeed. You say you'll give him one, but I mean, Nats has the classic up top. They'll punish if they go aggressive, or he'll try to. I think the spike is
เดี๋ยว
ultimately
แมวจับขา
take him down. Woot.
ไม่แม่ถึงจับ
There's
ขา
no walkabouts. He's taking a risk here.
ทางเล็บทำไม
That rifle could be finding its way into Nats' hands if he was in a different position, but
เขาจะบอกว่าเล็บยาแล้ว
there
ตัด
will be
ไป
no choice.
But it's also
Send
just
this.
the economic damage isn't that high. He's already got his ultimate. So for Nats in this scenario, just not giving them
บ
the
อด
orb,
บอ
not
ดไอ้
giving
นี่ครับ
Woot
บอดที
the
มที่โดน
opportunity
บอดทีมตรงข้าม
to get that kill contract online, ready for the fight, it's worth it. Like, because the thing with the kill contract that makes it such a valuable ultimate, sure, you get an advantageous 1v1, but that's not the main thing. If you have these site anchors, which you look at Liquid's comp, they've got 2 players that pretty much
ปืนไม่เข้ามา
sit
ทิ่ม
within
หน้า
that bracket of if you can take out Nats, if you can take out Serial, a lot of the delay disappears. Even if they're removed from their setup for a few seconds, that can be enough for the rest of the team to counter. So you do not want that ultimate coming online all too often. For Liquid, it's already
ปกติจะหลับหน่อย
slipping away from them and or getting
แนทสอนลูกทีมเร็ว ตอนนี้เรากำลังแย่แล้ว โดนนำไปเยอะและมีวิธีแก้ปัญหายังไง
leading the charge on the 2 big 3Ks that secured rounds that were otherwise up for grabs in the heroes like that on Mini Boo activated as well.
เบสเฮเว่นทีม
Good sign
โก
for
บอล
Heretics.
อุ้ย
How this BO5 is going to swing.
I think the stats
They're
speak for
all
themselves as well. 71.2% round win rate on Halo. So not only are they dominantly winning series, but
ถ้า
they're
ตามเปอร์
just
เซ็นต์
not
น่าจะ
losing too many rounds while they do it globally. Talking about the best team.
ขนาดเจ้าของ
That's why they wanted to start.
คอมแม่งยังโดนตบ
Get
เลย
things rolling as quickly as possible. Already. Going to see that Hunter's Fury utilized by Rians, looking to try and garner the team extra space, but nothing really being found. In fact, from Liquid, it's incredibly passive, knowing that they have the availability of this ult in the retake. As they now look to try and get space off it, and Camo in there once again.
Emerges from the old victorious Miniboo. Good flash as well. Stops that left side peak, as does the suppress going through. They've picked up the advantage back in their favor. They've got their back secured and numbers looking down on mid. It's going to be difficult to get that defuse tapped already by Team Liquid just to get the utility out. But there's more on its way. A reveal in the smoke, and now comfortable that there's no defuse happening. Team Heretics aren't panicking, but Liquid are, as another round falls into their opponent's hands with relative ease. And we've seen before, the stat popped up, the retakes for Team Liquid. I think what we saw earlier was their first successful retake when it came to Haven. And this one, well, it's just another defeat.
Yeah, well, I guess you look back to their previous Haven. They had a 9-3 attack side in the second half, and it was a 5-round streak to close out the map. So I guess they just
เป็น
didn't
จี
have a
แม่
very
ง
good defense
น่าสงสารที่ป่ะ
overall.
เดิน
Yeah, still a
หลับหูหลับตาอยู่ในไซ
somewhat
ต์
absurd stat to try and deal with.
0 for 12.
I am actually quite surprised though that how quickly they sort of give up on this one. I think just there was still plenty of time for them to challenge. I think just realizing that with the amount of spams that were coming through, they were never going to be able to get that defusal over the line. And wanting to make sure they at least have something to play within this round, but that was probably one of the closer we've seen in the last few. They've been incredibly clean from Heretics. And while now coming in with weaker weapons, you're talking about hero plays again, which have all been on the other side.
Exactly, yeah. The big clutches, the 4K pistol, the 3Ks by Benji.
I guess Camo had one.
He did. He had a good round. They haven't given him the rifle, so no respect for him. It's Kiko and Nats to pick those up. No, is set up alongside Nats on B. It's going to be a mid-crunch. Already seeing that contact outside of B. Nats with the double. The response clear, resounding for Heretics. They put some players in the dirt. The rifle recovered and instant death for Serial as he touches it. Another 3-piece for Benji. Make that 4.
คม
This guy is on fire today. An 8-1 for Team Heretics. Look, the next map looks better for Liquid, but if it keeps up like this, Tom, even they'll have doubts.
It genuinely feels like a lifetime ago that there were conversations about this guy coming in at the end of 2023 as a clout pickup. That was where we were. We were looking at the tier 2 squads. He grinded through, and even still when he came to Heretics, they went, he's got a lot of followers though, innit? That's the reason he's picked up. Now currently sits 13-3. In this server, having to been to a Champions final, a Masters final. He's been doing all right for himself, and as of right now, it seems like Liquid have absolutely no answer. Camo has been the one tiny bit of hope.
Found my wire.
The back of Benji's head, he knows that those opening duels didn't go so well for him last time. He avoids the fight with Camo. Keeps the information, rotates around. A site already taken, but Nats has managed to find himself an angle around that smoke. A double pickup already. The spam almost takes Boo, and Serial finishes him off. Another hero play needed. Miniboo on the site. Damn close to it. A 3-piece that leaves the 1v1. The ult doesn't land. And Benji.
What the fuck?
That flick โคตรโหด
เฮ้ย
Team Heretics have it all. Miniboo's on
มันเมื่อวาน
fire.
มันไม่โหดแบบนี้วะ
Clutching out rounds, and what hope is left for Team Liquid?
All I'm going to say is everybody's going to be stealing Benji Fishy's aim.
เมื่อวานเป็นแค่เคิร์ด
routine
สอง
after
สองหนึ่ง
this
ไง
one. That was just so clean with the final shot.
วันนี้นอนอิ่ม
Even managing to dodge the ultimate just seconds before that annihilation. Well, the only player annihilated at the end of the
อย่าง
round
กับ
was
อย่างกับเอ็ม
Serial.
ล็อก Serial
It'd be nice to have him on your team. Well,
พี่เหรีย
Rian,
ญแม่ง
someone
งง
we've
อ่ะ
talked about so
Leng
much,
Leng
hyped
Hong
up so much as one of the best players within the whole region, if not the best. He's currently in the backpack, 3 and 4, has that much to do. He'll set up a dart or two, and now Boo joins the party. This is a slaughter.
ยิงเล่นๆหน่อย
Even more so, it's not just the kills that come in here, it's the read from Team Heretics. They're going to make a play. They're going to try to get aggressive with those weaker buys. Let's just pump the brakes, spread the net. They've got players watching everything. They've got Luke able to rotate between helping C-Long or helping the double doors, and he wasn't needed on C-Long with Boo just cleaning it up like that. You talk about Benji as well. This is a guy, sure, he could look at Cloud pick up early on, but he did his time in the tier 2. He was playing on Enterprise for a long time when he probably could have just slotted himself in.
Those people were wrong.
Yes, without a doubt. Ain't nobody thinking they were right. Boo with another, man, a 5v2. This round is looking signed, sealed, and delivered into Team Heretics. Double digits. Almost without a doubt on the board, a big clutch needed, and there's just nothing going their way. You call it a Rian.
ด้วยวุฒิไม่ต้องเล่นเลย
Up to the plate. A home run for Heretics. One round left to compete for.
เรียกได้ว่าระเบิดฟอร์ม
One round on the board for Team Liquid.
Yeah, and in zone flawless, and Rian's has got at least a pinky toe out of the backpack. He's still firmly within it, but 10-1. I want to call back to kickoff, where we even heard in the video from Mixwell. The team didn't feel like they'd fully recovered off the back of what happened to Champions, a tough loss. In that kickoff lower bracket final, they lost map 1-13-4, map 2-13-4, map 3-13-7. It's already looking like a very different story, even if by some miracle Liquid managed to turn this map. They've already got more rounds than they did in the first two, and well, Woot's already got that opening pick onto Nats. The wraparound is solid though. Really good adaptation from Liquid.
That's what we needed to see. Okay, a 4 versus 3. Another pickup as well with Kiko. Closing up that back, making it through the window, and leaving Benji with a very impressive clutch if he managed it. Finally, Team Liquid put another round on the board right as the final bell tolls on the half.
ปิดขอบดำ
ฟลอร์มีดราม่านะดราม่าเยอะจังวะเรื่องนี้ตอนนี้ซีเรียลแบบหันไปทางพี่นายแล้วบอกแมปนี้ปล่อยมันไปดีกว่าเล่นแมปหน้า
แนทก็จะบอกว่ามึงตลกเหรอ แนทน่าจะไม่ใช่ฟิลนั้นนะเด็ก
แนทจะบอกมึงดูมันยิงดิกูว่าไปเล่นแบบหน้าดีละ อยากเห็นทีเฮดแม่งเจอกับไอ้นี่เหรอดันเนี่ย
เจอใครนะ
คารอนเก่งทั้งคู่ใครจะเป็นเจ้าแห่งเฮเว่นแนทแบกครับ แบกไม่ไหวครับตอนนี้ดูเฮเลติกแม่งยิงแต่ละคน วันนี้เบนจี้บูมินิบูอะไรมันเข้าฟอร์มเลยพี่บูนี่ยังไม่ได้เล่นเลย
คือพี่บูบอกไม่ถึงมือเลย
เดินเข้าไปเปิดโล่ปุ๊บอ้าวแม่งจะตายกันหมดละฝั่งข้ามแม่งก็เซฟแล้ว
Heretics in this sort of form have been a different beast to play against. Minibu's going to be under some serious pressure and will be dealt a death blow, but already look at the response. The defense looking to round round from behind. It's going to come down to the 1v1.
1-1 ว่ะไซเฟอร์
The
เหลือไซเฟอร์ด้วย
on either side. The IGL of Nat.
ชายผู้มากประสบการณ์กับชายผู้ที่มาความคมณตอนนี้
have to face off. He might just slip the net. The cam is holding on the corner. He's been
โดน
spotted.
ไปก่อนครับ
Manages to deal so much damage on towards Nats. Will get away with destroying his sneaky little bit of util, and who would have guessed it? Is that another clutch for
โอ้โห
Benji
มันเชื่
Fishy?
อจัดอะ
Unreal, and
มัน
especially
เดิน
when
ยัด
you
อย่าง
look
เงี้ย
at
แสดงว่ามัน
these
เล่น
two
มั่นใจมาก
players
นะ
in particular, Nats and Benji. Last time they faced, it was a different story. Nats was diffing him individually, and now the Wonder Kids come through with another big round. But it's Boo we have to look at here. How he gets 3. Nats was waiting inside that smoke. This should never have been a 1v1.
ทำไมมันโดนช็อตแบบไลท์อัพรัวๆแล้ว
Up and again.
Nat's aim is here, bro. It's fine.
And it's just another free
All I'm
marketing
gonna say-
campaign for the Heretics Classic.
Don't let Nat see that before map number 2. Or if you're a Liquid fan, do let Nat see that before map number 2, and he'll come back with a vengeance. The man who's been around the block and is still in his early 20s. Mini boot under pressure, but you'll never believe it.
โอ้โหรู้เล่นปืน
Clean
แบบ
shot
นี้
onto Camo.
เหลือ
And
จะ
this is
เชื่อ
a
ปะ
buy. Just so you know, Liquid have invested into this round. They've got
เสีย
the
เส้นเลย
maybe trying to take a leaf out of BBL's book, but already a man down.
Who's on his way up here? He's going to see that trap and try to make a pass. There's a
Judge
judge in
versus
front of
Tim.
Nats. It's a tough fight for
See,
Nats,
it's
but
in.
one that he wins. Boo on the other side, though, has dropped that A defender. Now opening up a little avenue for himself, but he's flanked out by Nats again. A second pick for the Cypher. Serial takes inspiration. Doubles up on that fight and leaves Benji alone. Another clutch needed for Benji
เนี่ยคน
Fishy.
กำลังมั่น
I
ใจ
believe it
ดู
would be
ดู
another 3K as well. Time ticking, and the force buy of Team Liquid seems to have found success. Kiko's already been rooted. Great bait by
นี่
Ben.
อ่ะเป็นไง
Time is gone, but still an
ตอนนี้ที่
unbelievable
ไอ้
attempt.
เกโก้
You
หัน
win
ไป
the round, but you've
ต้อง
got
ทำแบบ
to
นี้
feel
กู
like Heretics are the ones walking out with a smile on their face.
การไปแกะให้เขาได้ยินด้วยนะว่าโดนแห
For Benji Fishy, 18 and 4.
You're right. It is a Liquid win. And credit has to be given to the likes of Serial and Nats, and just the sheer amount of time that ended up being bought. But I don't know how he manages to get those remaining kills.
เกโก้
18 and
บอกไม่เป็นไร
4.
ให้อภัย เพราะไงกูก็
But
ได้
that
เล่
was
น
a
แบบหน้า
lifeline. That was
ไม่เล่นแล้วแบบนี้
a small amount of hope that's been given. Liquid will be able to come in with a purchase, and on the other side, sure, there's still a few pieces. That Outlaw definitely dangerous here, and just like the last round, Camo is dead within seconds.
เรียบร้อย
Opening pick. One of the 2 weapons in play for Heretics.
เข้า
That
ไฟไงครับ
Bulldog
ทีนี้
recovered
เดี๋ยวนะไม่ใช่ขึ้น
by the
12 แล้ว
3 piece. The economic
เพราะ
damage
แต่ TL
does
มัน
keep some of Heretics
ชนะ
modest.
เรา
They've
อ่ะ
seen Benji. But now he's being spotted in the corner. It's a fight
อ๋อ
against
มัน
Nats
บุก
with
นี่
a
หว่า
cage. False, never mind. He's taken him down before. And
Do we-
now
do we-
there's a couple
sorry.
upgrades. Well, for Team Liquid, I suppose, but also for Heretics when this rotation comes through. A 5 versus 3 in a round where they far
Benji แม่ง on fire
outgunned
จัด
their
ตอนนี้
opponents. But no more.
They've walked into the 2 weapons. That's sort of the curse of Liquid in this round, is that
เข้าคาราดมา เป็นจี้เทปให้
pieces
วู
they had to watch out for have been the pieces that they met for Woot and Rians.
เสียเส้นเลยเล่นลู
Though
กซอง
at that,
อยู่
there is very little to play with. And a post plant here could be the thing that undoes all of those
พี่เอ๋ยไม่
vulnerabilities.
ถูกใจสิ่งนี้
Woot
30 seconds left.
just waiting in case they try and go back towards the other side. He's heard the plant, has the paranoia,
ไป
but
ได้
he's
วะน่ะ
completely
กระโดด
sectioned
กระโดด
off
ได้
from the rest of the team, at least for now.
Wait, it's gonna be a while before he can break through that. Got the numbers to work with. Or he's TP'd.
ได้ยิน
They've heard that. They know he's
เฮ้ย
close. So Op's
ทำอย่าง
gonna
นี้
be
เลยเหรอ
caught by Serial as well. And he's
กู
caught
ถึงก็
him.
ต้องจับมันเลย
That's one player down.
Yeah.
Oh, but they've not caught Woot! He walked straight through the smoke that was thrown out just before that sees. Gives them a real chance with Panatek all alone on the backside. And he's spotted out by Mini Boo. A 3-piece for him. Another big individual round for Team Heretics.
ทำไมมัน
They are
ชิวขนาดนั้น
looking
วะ
by far to be the better team. At least here on Haven. 12 to 3. So many chances to close this out. And Team Liquid, well, they better have a
ผมไม่ได้
lot
เปิ
of
ดระบบ
hope.
น้องจอยเพราะปิด
But
เสียง
built up by that
ขึ้นไปอาบ
ascent
น้ำซะหน่
play
อย
this season because the Haven ain't going anywhere near their favor.
That's the problem. They now come into this round with severe limitations on the credits.
โอ้โห
They're going to
บ้า
make
จัด
decisions of where they want to try and take this, and ideally, I think B would be the best. But think about that last round, you got picked off immediately by Miniboo. Still some hope in the crowd that there will be a response in this map, but they would need a streak even better than what they managed versus BBL. And while let's be real, this Heretic squad have been a different beast. Nats trying to slip the net, but no sneaky play to be had, and instead they're walking into the Lion's Den. They may know where that Lion is, but dealing with him, it's been a different story. A quick double already for Benji. And while Patatek has been able to survive, but they could not deal with the beast at the back of C. It is a 13-3 decimation of Liquid.
เป็นจีสแบ็กว่ะบอกเลยขอฟอร์มนี้นะโตลอนโตไม่อันนี้มันต้องชนะครับไป EWC ครับถ้าชนะแมปหน้าเหรอโหแม่งไม่กล้าให้3-1เลยว่ะจริงอย่างนี้น่าจะ3-0ว่ะ แป๊บหนึ่งขอดูทรง
เดี๋ยวโชว์ความมั่นใจ
แบบ2ก่อนแอสเซนฮิเลติกเหรอแอสเซนฮิเลติกสภาพเป็นไงวะออกดูเอลด้วยมีสิทธิ์นะเนี่ยแอสเซนฮิเลติกก็พอประมาณดีกว่าใช่ว่าพอประมาณพอได้ลุ้นอยู่ คือถ้าได้แอสเซนก็คือ3-0เลยอะทรงเนี้ยโคตรเดือดอะ
ว่าแล้วเสียงอะไรเสียงไอ้ TFT เปิดไว้ เหมือนมีเสียงแบบเฮเฮตลอดเลยมักจะโดนหลอกบ่อยไปกันเดี๋ยวมา
ช็อตนี้โคตรช็อตโคตรเดือดที่มันยิงซีเรียลนัดวันแท็บอ่ะป้าจัด
have the ability to reset themselves. Like I think that they've got experienced players like Panatek, who's obviously been on the other side, has been part of that Heretics core, and will know that maybe that might have been their strongest map, but a best of 5, it's going to be a long series, there's going to be back and forths, and in reality that first map becomes a distant memory if you're able to get a response early in the series. So I don't think they're going to be beating themselves too much about that one. You knew there was a vulnerability, it was that, or it was playing the Pearl. You probably weren't going to win either. Move on, get into your map choice.
Well, here it is, the pistol round playing out before our eyes, and a lot of aggression from this defensive side. They've got the Yoru and the Jet pushed down on mid. A late play coming out from Kiko. Might be too late to catch them. No, it's gone down
already. 3 coming up for the attack.
เฮ้ยเอาดีเบน
Very
จี้
clean
หมดแล้วเหรอ
start to this take, ready for the flank to come in behind them, but Boo is still lurking, still waiting around. Rience currently blocked out by the barrier. Well, getting anything from this point onwards is going to be difficult. Talk about the difficulties at time of that double sentinel when it's on the attack, but once you get into defensive positions, that's when it really has its value. Those post plants can be filthy. And well, at this stage for Rians, it's all about just finding some extra orbs, getting a few extra credits while you do it, and maybe even earning some style points. You really just don't want to be walking into this guy's crosshair. I think he has some of the highest headshot percentage of anybody you'll see, and has had a little bit of a warm-up at the end of a Team Liquid round.
Yeah, there's something about Team Heretics in this series when it comes to those multi-kills. They are
ช็อตนี้พี่
taking
แน็ก
them
เจ็บ
in
ปะ
droves so far. I thought that could have been too late, but of course Woot was shift walking to try to make it around to
พี่
main.
แน็กไม่ถูกใจสิ่งนี้
But it's going to be funny because if you're like a scoreboard warrior, you're going to look at that and go, Koreans get 4 kills in the pistol round, they still don't win it. Like, what were the rest of the guys doing? But you can see the Liquid side are not fazed by this. I think Panatek, we heard the value from Heretics when he was on that squad of a guy like him in these scenarios, keeping the vibes positive, getting everybody pumped up. You know that map loss, although it was rough, it was quick and something easy to get over. And it doesn't look like they're phased at all. Even think back to
คลาสสิก BBL สวยนะ
them losing their map choice yesterday on Split to BBL. They got completely countered. They go into the next map. It's like it never happened. I think it came up with Camo getting aces throughout that map. So,
เนี่ย
Bold play. A bold play indeed. Although he was going to be pushed from every angle.
also has the weakest weapon.
Exactly. And you talk about not being phased by that opening round. I mean, of all the rounds to lose practically all your players, that is the one, right? In the pistol, you're still going to come in on and not losing that much. A round like this, it would be a different story altogether. They're being contained on that attacking side. Rien's Sheriff in hand. A 4-piece here would traumatize the Team Liquid side. He's only good for 1. Boo up top. They're already spamming it. Now they've seen him. Now they know he shouldn't be getting anything done. Spike's coming for him, and he will go down to it. Only 2 players drop Team Liquid. That's a little bit of a better round for them. Bringing forward 2 decent rifles. The Spectre into this coming round.
Yeah, I guess when you have a buy on every player, that's a bit more damage than you would have liked, and it does mean that your bonus round is going to be a bit weaker than you'd like. And well, you can see the stats in terms of bonus rounds. I think it does come down to that investment. Like, a lot of teams are going for the sort of 2-3 rifles, 2 pistols, so that then you can purchase back up with 5 rifles. It will overinflate the amount of quote-unquote bonus rounds that we have, because a lot of teams aren't playing them as bonus rounds. Also means you're more likely to lose them, but that's a different story altogether. Liquid have been playing it safe, but it does mean these bonus rounds are a lot weaker than other teams.
ป่านนี้คนหมุนเท่าไหร่ครับ
Maybe not.
Happy to play for the long game normally, but the opening pick looks very good indeed. One of the rifles, the main one, the Vandal, finding exactly what it needs. The shot landing for Camo again. The third, not quite there, but Serial picks it up anyways, and what should have been a relatively convincing round, one that Liquid don't usually have a lot to say in, one that Liquid come in with a massive disadvantage in terms of weaponry. This is looking like somewhere they'll find a lot of success. Benji, he's being flanked up on, but it's all about timing for Patatek. He can play this super slow, use the salvos to try to lock in the round, and that might be the best play. Playing the numbers, playing the time, but now he's got it! Oh, it's perfect for Panatek! start
Pati
for
một
Team
hoàn chiếc
Liquid.
rồi.
Weapons carried forward as well. This is exactly what they needed to get right back on the horse.
Starting things off with Camo being that entry point. It was again mentioned on the desk the difficulties of this double senti. You don't really have a whole lot of information other than Serial's kit and then what you can find with that solo drone. So you're even more reliant on that attack side from Camo.
Let's go.
You need him to be hitting his shots. Obviously, a lot of the time you're going to see poor stats on attack side jets on this map because you're diving into choke points, diving into players waiting for you. But he found the important kill of the round, and while Nat's now buying up the sniper on the other side, his aim was compared to Benji in the last map. As said, we'll see if that's something that they live to regret.
Nice shot by Patatek. A second on the follow-up, and the A side is theirs. Yeah, I think in that replay there, it was a little quiet, but I might have heard him say Heretic skill. Maybe someone did show him that clip. And if they did, that's a big mistake for Team Heretics. Getting too confident too early, perhaps. Team Liquid, 4-0 start. Seems locked in.
The thing is with Nats as well, you know he doesn't get angry. It's more like, he's like the sort of guy who goes, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. And then we'll just rip them a new one on this next map. So I'll definitely be scared. Looking like a 4-0 start. Similarly to what we saw in that last map, just running away with it on the attack side. And we know how devastating this defensive side composition can end up for that side of Liquid. Just ask BBL. They managed 0 rounds on their attack side when facing off against this comp.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, right? It was a 13-4 map. BBL with very little to say when it came to Ascent when these two teams faced it.
Well, yeah, and a 12-0 defensive half. Let's add that bit in for context as well.
Starting half. So a 4-0 start for Team Liquid. Well, that seems to be a couple nails in the coffin already for Heretics.
Maybe they're just lowering it. It's a bit early. It's a bit early.
I think you put the nails in before you lower it, though.
No, I throw them in.
Oh yeah, well, you got those biceps. Yeah. My bad. Some of us can't quite make
That's
that
why
work.
I can't do lineups because they just.
I always said Bullseye was your favorite hero. I understand now. More of a villain, but I suppose depends how you look at it. You've got the head for it.
It is.
I got to see that cosplay, Tom.
Yeah, I think I also have the head for Hitman, but that's not the point. Operator in play, Woot ready to go, but he's just been wrecked. That was a drive-by by Serial, and although the opening pick had already gone the way of Miniboo, and of course it was Camo to be dropped, you look at the ultimates that are available. The Armageddon, Annihilation, 2 high-impact damage-dealing ults of very different degrees. There's not a lot of good places to stand if you're on the Heretic side.
A couple good rounds now. Looks like we're seeing Serial in full scrim form. Oh, what a dodge! Barely avoiding that Annihilation. Hunter's Fury sent through as well. Defenders trying to slow down this push, but Liquid still get the space. They take down Miniboo. They catch Boo coming out of the smoke. Serial with another. And now this round seemingly locked in! Oh, Nats! I don't know what's happened between the last map and this, but he is locked in, just like the 5th round in a row for Team Liquid.
I felt like Rian's gonna start looking around like, who told him? Who was it? Who told him? Because it is looked like a different beast already. 7-3. Yeah, I saw that in the moment. I was like, that looked filthy. And it was, okay, both the Serial's kills. It is the Sentinels leading the way at the moment. Sure, Patatek's only died once. And yeah, the stat to back up what I was mentioning.
Hospital pick จริงๆมันยิงอย่างเดียวไงมันเล่นเซนแล้วมันยิงอย่างเดียว
part of that on the defensive side. Bear in mind it was a 9-3 defensive half when they play versus BBL. It's not even remotely possible anymore.
Nice shot by Miniboo. Road to recovery, perhaps. A second. Just as I claim, he's not online.
เป็นเรื่
He's
อง
been brought
นะ
back into the fray. The Team Liquid now with a two-man disadvantage. Still, though, weaponry looking very good for them. Abandoning this position, though, will give the chance for some of those defenders to recover those rifles. Well, perhaps not. 4 players on A, and Liquid are walking into it.
กล้องอยู่ไหนกล้องอยู่ไหน
Miniboo was sort of the ruse. He was just meant to hold the line a little bit for the rest of the team. And while Nats has tried to be cheeky and been met with a paranoia, they haven't baited out the one thing that is on the other side, and that's the utility. Alongside a little bit of help from Riens. Or maybe he'll just do everything on his own. They finally got around. It's a pay-safe card. It's Rifty that will get Heretics onto the board.
What a considerate play by Boo. You know, he comes into that fight. Sure, he could just take the kill. So many players would, Tom. But he realizes, Riens, you need the orbs. I don't. I'll distract him. I'll shoot above him so he's forced to fight me, and you can have the orb. That's the kind of guy you want on your team, leading by example.
You know what I love from our replay team as well?
What's that?
They wanted to make sure that we finally saw Clove today, because we won't be seeing them in the server. But don't worry, they're in the crowd.
Get out of my way.
5-1. A nice round by Heretics, but is it repeatable? Will Team Liquid fall into that trap again? It was a 2-piece by Miniboo and then a push into the stack. Little mistake by Nats, rushing out of his cage while still nearsighted.
I love that. Boo is trying to destroy the util. It's just still sitting there. It hasn't gone anywhere. The paranoia was correct. Execution not so much now. Miniboo is in an incredibly aggressive position. He, as of right now, I was going to say doesn't have a way out, but he's waited for the drone and will will be forced out. No, he didn't take the TP.
An audacious
Hello,
play.
PA.
Overstays his welcome. 2 players on site. They haven't been spotted. Never mind. Boo's dealt with. They don't expect the second. Riens gets the jump on the first, but he's dealt with quickly by the flood of attacking players.
เกิดอะไรขึ้นอ่ะ
And the op sounds out. Team Liquid know what
เปิด
they're
เพิ่งหัด
against.
เล่นไอเซนเลย
There shouldn't be free opportunities.
แล้วผมมันนั่ง
given to
ปุ๊บ
him
แม่ง
once
โด
that
นเลย
smoke
หนึ่ง
fades.
ราว
And more importantly,
โดยอีโค
the
ด้วย
op shouldn't be committed.
ใส่ผมต้องมาเชียร์เฮ
Versus
เล
4,
ติก
you
ว่ะ
need mistakes to be made on the other side, and the risk you take in trying to force those will cripple your economy coming into the next, especially with 150 left
ดู
on
ข้าว
loot.
อีกแล้ว
There's no choice but to save these weapons to the next round, and that's Team Liquid. A bump in the road in the previous, but they're right back to winning ways.
ดูเสื้อด้วยโซโล่เลเวลลิ่งกูมากับซอง
I
จินอู
understand that when you are, again, we spoke about it earlier, the risks that have to be taken with this
ลิขสิทธิ์แท้จาก
composition
Q-Boy
when you're running a double duelist on defense. You need some of
ขอบ
that
คุณนะครับ
individual
ผม
flair, but I don't know if maybe someone destroyed his TP, like as he put it down, because they were around the corner pretty quick, or
ไม่หลัง
obviously
หู
being
มันชอบเปลี่ยน
suppressed as well, denied him from being able to use it. I didn't catch it in the moment. I definitely saw he got paranoia, but whatever it was, it meant that Miniboo wasn't able to leave.
Cutting through.
Does he get hit by? Maybe it's the drone. Ah, yeah, he just whiffed. They just whiffed the drone, and
he
that stops him
tried to
being able to
TP,
TP. That is rough.
โอ้มินิ
And
บู
just
เสีย
that
ทรงเลย
little bit of a whiff was enough for him to get taken out by the drone, and that was basically the round falling apart because they gambled on his aggressive position and didn't have anyone else able to get in until we saw that TP. But by that point, look how far Camo had already gone.
เก็บสองพี่น้องอย่างไรได้เมื่อกี้
Small mistake, but a big cost.
เมื่อกี้สงสัยตอนลงเวทีไปโดนแมท
Last time, do they expect it again? Riens through the cage has got a double. Nats is staring down that corner. He knows, but he can't deal with
สองคนพอครับ
Riens, and in zone flawless as Team Liquid attempt to pressure the same mistake that
ที่
they
เหรียญยิง
forced
ไปสอง
out
แบ
in
บ
the
ไม่
previous.
มองเห็นหน้า
But drastically different result this time.
I mentioned in the last map, it seemed like Rien's was in the Dora Explorer backpack. He has definitely got out of it, and if anything, put the rest of the team in the backpack of his own. I believe he currently has the same amount of kills as the rest of the team combined, which is definitely not a good sign for the side of Heretics. But in that round, it's at least something. Solid individual performance from him, bringing in that Hunter's Fury once more. But you can see the immediate response is a bit more of a pace change, a quick take into middle, and with already the net catching onto one. Wood's got to be careful, but he wins the fight.
ได้เล่นแล้วว่าพี่วูด
A bit more passive with the operator this time.
Revealing area.
Gets his reward for his trouble. A lot of space taken, but it's aware on Team Heretics. They were watching it the whole time. Wood picking off Kiko. Miniboo wrapping around as they're worried about the off. Misses his shot, and that's okay. Back out of that position, uses util to reclaim some space, and now Woot goes walkabouts, goes looking for the pick, but it's Serial to find it in response. Another for Serial as he's stepping up, but needs an ace to close this round out, suspecting
ไม่เป็นไร
another player on site.
ตัวคัดเลย
Give him an opportunity. For now, it's passive play from Team Heretics. Oh, never mind. He's isolated one.
นี่อ่ะ
Through the door for another.
ตัวนี้มันลาย
Just one away from the ace.
Has annihilation on
เฮียกงเฟลด้วย
He has the sensors available. Every single piece of the kit is available. For Serial on bench, he can't really do anything without giving his position away. He's hoping to maybe try and catch him out. But I like this reposition from Serial, realizing that he's going to expect No, he spawned it out. I thought he was just going to hold on to it, but has tried to fire it directly at his opponent. Oh, we almost just saw one of the greatest clips ever, and it is going to be clipped, but not for the right reasons.
มันยิงก็จบแล้วเมื่อกี้
Oh, that's tough.
โอ้มาอย่างหล่อ
Everything set up perfectly. The wall up top.
หลายรอบแล้วไอ้ซีเรียลเนี่ยแบบเหลือตัวสุดท้ายไม่งั้นมันจะเป็นเจ้าคัดเลยนะ
End the clip, end the clip, end the clip.
Beautifully isolates every battle. This
Chill,
almost
yeah.
creates a target for Benji to fire back on. Yes! You can see the change.
พี่ลองนึกภาพดิไอ้ซีเรียลเนี่ยมันชอบเหลือคนเดียวแบบนี้คัดเหลือคนไทยมันก็แพ้
ก็ทำได้บ่อยอยู่นะ
มันเก่งอยู่นะ
And the worst thing is even
ไม่เป็นผู้เล่นที่เหมือนไม่มีแรงกดดัน นิ่งเกิน
under and pops the ult. It's running out and
Well, no,
popping at the same time.
that's the bit that confuses me is that he puts himself in a position that you think, okay, he's never going to use the ult there because it's such a weird spot to try and bounce it from. Like if you go back to main, you go back to the door. There's so many sort of lineups that work, whereas that it's a gamble no matter what. Him swinging and just shooting.
ไม่ก็วางสตันไว้สักอันก็ได้
You knew where he was going. But yeah, unfortunately, it's a round they never should have had. It was him almost winning it individually. It just didn't end the way you wanted it to.
This is the form that we were looking for from Serial coming into the league. What we heard about him in the background. He's a strong individual player, someone that many have questioned whether he could do down on that stage. Here today, he's off to a flying start.
I felt like Nats has more phantom kills than most people have kills, but there we go. Immediate TP towards the spawn. They found a gap that's not really being battled for, and it leaves a couple to try and hold this alone. Rien's with a little bit of help has managed to fight two, in fact, with the Hunter's Fury. And well, after getting that round over the line, that one, blink and you miss it.
This is dangerous, Tom. This is dangerous. Now we're starting to see Heretics activated again. Now we're starting to see them snowball, chain together 3 rounds in a row. After a 5-0 start, a near flawless performance from Team Liquid and almost a clutch from Serial. How close they've come. But think back to Haven. Some rounds were close. Some rounds looked like they could go on the board, but the difference was those individuals. And if they now start to step up, if we see a 6-6 half, sure, Team Liquid are great on the defense. But they just experienced a spanking on map number 1. We may well see that same form from Heretics, regardless of the map.
I think that's the talking point. It's like if they come into this map and come out with a 6-6, absolutely fine. But it's the manner in which it's happening. They're starting to get slammed. Quick push in, nice work from Serial again. It doesn't seem like he's let that moment get to him whatsoever, having a fantastic individual game. And already Minibu is going to put things back in their favor. Serial and Nats, the double Senti need to hold the line, and Nats looking to try and wrap round from behind. It seems though that Minibu is well aware, even expected him to be in this corner. And now for the remaining two, they could try and bait him in. The problem is this is not planted in a position that Nats could really do anything about, and Minibu even repositioned to the rest of his team. Great round from Heretics, and another to the streak.
And starting to put together the game plan of Team Liquid, getting ahead of that fight, coming out of the smokes. It looked for a minute a bit silly. Boo, he's crouched down, he's caught by the net, and Rienz sits inside a smoke. But of course, you're worried about something from Team Liquid, about them flashing out normally, but with this composition, not too much of a worry. That allows them to find a couple of kills, chain them together. But from that point, there is a clear read on how Team Liquid are going to approach it. They know Nats is playing late. They know he's coming up behind. And Minibu was staring at that the whole time, waiting to pop that flash to punish.
They're going to try and go for it again. I like it. Maybe trying to catch them off guard a little bit with the aggression. Boo, though, it's the same result. Spam through the smoke. He does still get caught by the net, but a completely different position. It's being spammed by Paditek, and Rienz has gone down. Woot is going to only be able to find one, and now his position's about to be revealed. And while he's
ไม่
pulling
แกะ
out
ตั้งนาน นั่งเล็งรอไม่ออกสักที
Great ult that forced him to avoid that
ลิควิด
snake
มัน
in
บุ
the
ก
grass
โคตรซิ่ง
play.
อะพี่ ไม่รู้ว่าไปกินอะไรวะ
Now an opportunity for the
Sing
plan.
it.
Post plan looking
Long
strong.
shot.
The ult
มัน
online
ซิ่ง
for
แบบ3
Serial.
ราวติดอะ
Probably won't see him swinging out wide with it this time. Playing nice and safe down below. Nats
เอาเมื่อ
covering
กี้อั
him.
นตีมันใช้ไปแล้วไม่ใช่หรอ
Patatek in main waiting for
Nice.
salvos to come
My
online. There it is. They just came on. So everything for
You may
Team
pop it,
Liquid
I see
to
you.
close this one out. The information sure will come through, and the ult will be popped. Opportunity to use it as well. He's looking in the right direction. Oh, but he's caught with it in hand again. And now Nats goes down. Patatek desperately looking to put salvos into play, but it's already going to be halved. They've got time on their side if they can force this peak, and it will be forced soon. Minibu, the bodyguard, the man he has to get through, and Patatek does it. Just about
ยิง
finding
น้องๆได้
the
ยังไง
Red Bull clutch and the lead at the halftime.
Yeah, they needed a safe pair.
ถือว่าใช้ได้ครับปฏิเทคผมว่าแล้วมันลิควิดมันเอาไอซีเรียลอะมันดูแบบ น่าจะเห็นของ แต่ตอนนี้มันยังไม่ค่อยปล่อยของเลย
ก็ปล่อยอยู่นะเมื่อกี้ ปล่อยไป2 ช็อตอะ
อืม เล่นดีขึ้นเรื่อยๆเลยนะ เหมือนไอ้นี่แหละแอชในเจนจีอะที่เล่นดีขึ้นเรื่อยๆเฮ้ยโมโหแม่งลิเวอร์พูลแม่งโอ้โหโคตรโหดเลยตอนเนี้ยผมสปอยคลิปที่จะลงให้ คือมันเป็นคลิปวาโลเว้ย แล้วแบบว่าเป็นด่านแอดเซนใช่ป่ะ แล้วแบบอันนี้คือผมจะลงคลิป2-3 วันนี้แหละ แต่ว่ามันเป็นคลิปที่ไม่ได้เก่งหรืออะไรไม่เป็นคลิปที่แบบผมรู้สึกว่าเฮ้ยหน้ามาลงสักครั้งหนึ่งเพราะว่า ตอนผมไปเลือกคลิปที่มาตัดผมเห็นแมตช์นี้สกอร์มันก็ยิงเยอะดีก็นั่งดูฟุตเทจย้อนหลังตอนตัดแบบว่าเอาแค่ไฮไลท์ลง แล้วก็นั่งคิดอยู่เลยว่ากูโมโหอะไรของกูวะแมตช์เนี่ยแบบโอ้ยแบบฉุนเฉียวฟึดฟัดแบบทุบโต๊ะมีถอนหายใจมีครบเลย ผมงงสัตว์เลย แล้วชนะด้วยนะแต่หงุดหงิดจัดเลยไม่รู้เพราะอะไรเดี๋ยวค่อยเอาลงให้ดูเน็ตบอกสบายแล้วกัน no access to site จำชื่อกูไว้เน็ตบางพีเน็ตคลองเตยเจอพี่เอ๋ยบางพีไม่ไหวหรอก
Found in the to carry them through it.
Oh, the stats tell you
90%
no.
เดฟวิ
They
เลต
really are
โอ้
filthy, and I
shit
think especially with the double duelist trying to dive through these setups are going to
กัน
be
อะไร
so
ขนาดนั้นนะ
difficult. Well, this time they're not diving through anything.
ดู
It's
แบบ
an
ถัดไปเลยอะ
aggressive pistol round start
ไป
from the defensive side of Liquid, not shying
ไซ
away
เฟอร์
from
เด
a
ดล็อก
fight.
ว่าสมควรจะกันได้
Careful though. A couple of players tagged up at least a little bit, and the kills
เฮ้ย
quickly
ยังไง
going back the way of Heretics. Benji and Woot somehow turning this just to one man. But that one man is Nats. He knows exactly where they are, but might just miss the boat on the
ไป
time.
แล้วครับผม
แล้วถามมิ่งอะไรวะเนี่ย
Just about.
แล้วมันจะเดินไปเอเฉย
แนทคิดว่าเอเหรอ
Still a trap covering that cross. Will be
มันน่าจะเล่นรอแผ่น
Nats will know
แถบ
exactly
แตกก็วิ่งละ
what's going down. But in not too long, Benji's going to have that comeback. And with that available for the post plant, they can play Boathouse. They can just run down that clock.
รีโหลดทำดี
Force Nats into a 1v2 fight. Both players 50 HP.
โวลานัท
And a Sheriff recovered. The body shots, all that he needs, but he's got to be quick against Woot and Benji Fishy,
ที่ตุลนัทตาย
who had so many 3Ks, I lost count on
Line
the
up now,
previous
level.
map.
The cam is going to give it away. Second he makes this cross, Benji will have the information. He even has the
We
tag,
go.
they peek it together. What a resurgence from the side of Heretics around that look dead to rights until that smiley duo of Benji and Woot have turned that pistol. And to be honest, I think they need it. This composition from Liquid on the defensive side is incredibly tough to play against. It's almost reductive in what you're able to do. Like if you're a jet and you try and dash in, maybe you're met by a
แล้วไป
trip,
เสีย
maybe
สาม
you're
เรา
met
นี่
by
ง
a
งว่ะ
sensor. Either way, it's difficult. Then you try and take space and it can
เจอ
lead
พี่บูธเอวหวานอย่าง
to
งี้ไม่โดน
positions where he's teleported into a site and there's a wall in the way. It really is tough to try and find gaps in this defensive side. And a pistol at least gives them that little bit of an extra boost.
And you can understand the logic to Team Liquid still taking those fights. They can reset into a 2-2 setup or having someone passive on a
อันนี้เขา
site,
เรียกว่ายิงไป
allow
เรื่
a
อย
post plant and have to fight into it. Give numbers.
หมดเลยเอ็นเลย
It's an anti-eco, but an ace is an ace. And Orbs in his back pocket. That's a hell of a start. The Guardian just shredding through those unarmored opponents. My goodness.
พี่เหรียญ
He's
แบบ
just
ว่า
farming
เอ็
like
ด
4
นาที
exit
แม่งเอ็ด
kills.
ไม่ค่อยน่าภูมิใจ
An
เท่าไหร่
eco. The man is just getting as many orbs as he possibly can.
แต่น้ำบด
Well, yeah, you mentioned he's now 2 away from having that Hunter's Fury already. Incredibly clean start to the second half, but this is where things should get a little bit more difficult. But again, I mentioned it in the first half, the fact that you'll see Liquid with a lot of lighter buys. Well, this is 4 rifles and a sniper and a very quick attempt. The dart is perfect. It gives Woot that opener.
บูธ
Woot was dead to rights there with the salvos.
เล่นคน
hunting
เดียว
him
เลย
down
หน้าเอ
either way. Wanted the pick for his trouble, but won't find it. A big play from Team Heretics. Rian's with an ace versus the anti-eco, but now it's the rifles they play against. The A pressure, the pick there too.
น่าใช้เหมือนกันนะพี่เอ๋ย
A big rotation.
ให้เพื่อนสโมกลึก
Knowing now
ใช่ป่ะ
DC
เจ็ตแบด
Patatech
ไป
back to clear
เข้า
mid.
สโมกสแกนลงออกไปยิงฟรี
And a second suspected
แต่
the
ต้อง
B
มีสาม
side
คนที่คุยรู้
under
เรื่อง
pressure. Patatech
Wait a moment.
almost taken out. And there are weaknesses to this buy for Heretics, but the numbers are the main disadvantage now. A 2 versus 4 that they're left in. And a great read by Liquid. They are all over this.
โอ้โหนัดแม่งได้
Quick
น้อยจัง
response. And that's not being over aggressive, just making sure that he can hold that line. And Benji is all that stands between them and reclaiming their lead. They're actually happy for him to have the site. Not something they're particularly bothered about. While he's trying to get there as quietly as possible, but the only real thing he's hoping for is a gap.
30 seconds
He has
left.
found a massive gap potentially. 1 down. The second not quite going his way. He's brought Nats low, but
เป็นเรื่อง
that
นะ
could have been a
เมื่อกี้
difference
เป็นเรื่อง
maker.
นะ
Just trying
ได้
to
สามอะ
find any space that he humanly can. In fact, they are all looking the other direction. And now another one for Benji. He seems to make every
What's
single
that,
of
Benji?
these rounds so desperately close. And yet, considering that's a bonus, it could have easily been 4, 5 players left standing. Well, all that's left is 1.
Hell, if Benji didn't see that player in market,
อันนี้ควิด
he
มันแอบ
has
แอบดู
the
พลาด
freest
ๆเหมือนกัน
picks of
แม่ง
his life. That
ดู
could
ทาง
have
เดียว
been
กัน
a
หมดเลย
3K spray down
2 รอบเลย
into spawn.
แท็กโทรไปเลย
What a recovery. And again, one of the factors that we looked at is, oh, well, he hasn't been online quite as much. Well, here in this half, he certainly has been. That's the lead for Team Liquid, 8-7. But they were up against a light buy. And they struggle, they stumble. And it's this man to make them crumble in that round.
มึงมีทั้ง 4 คน
They recover just in
ไอ
time.
ช็อตแรกอะยังพอเข้าใจได้แม่ง
Economy takes
ไม่
a
รู้ว่าแม่ง
big
อยู่ในไซ
hit,
ด์แล้ว
and a loss here could
That
give
shot
Heretics the
song.
lead in the next.
หายไปตั้
3
งนาน
sets of light shields. Boo. I think considering shooting his own dart,
สแกนมันนะ
there is not a Sova on the other side, so it's not something he
I
has to
hope
worry
he
about
did.
too much, but maybe getting lost in the moment. The defense reaggressing into middle. There are a fair few pieces missing in this round, and this outlaw is as deadly as ever. They're going to go swinging into it, and those are just easy picks for Miniboo. That's the damage that Benji caused in the last round. They couldn't afford those heavier shields, and while those are the freest kills he might get all day.
That guy deserves an assist for that up on the scoreboard. He's not going to find it though.
It's
Still,
not enough.
he'll be, he has, hasn't he? On 12 and 6 at the moment. He'll be happy enough if they win this round. Damage done, and he's dealt with in the end. The spams through the wall from all those players on top mid. Now with 5 versus 2. Seems like the hard work's being done. It's a
30
formality
seconds left.
to attempt to close this out. The cage saw nothing. Little does Nats know that there's a player just around the corner. Boo won't quite catch him. The players on site may well do. One for Nats.
Careful.
Much more
Careful.
needed and found. He's down to
Can beat
17
Nat.
HP. The space has been claimed for the plant.
เฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ย
Wow. Close.
Really don't
Oh,
want to give
Gong.
this man anything.
ยัง
ดู
ไง
แม่ง
เหรอกล้อง
แม่ง
ยังไม่แตกอีก
แม่งช่ำเทคโนโลยีจัด
Cam still set up for the corner. Boo sectioned off. Trying to get information to that back site. But they're now just looking to lock in. Ultimate for Ian's, but probably not going to be utilized in this scenario. And now the gap's been found by Kiko, but this leaves Nats still desperately low. They made this one costly, or more so he has. But anything more from here should be an impossibility, and Rian's not sure of it. The safest pair of hands you could hope for right at the top of the board in terms of clutch statistics, but that won't add to them.
No, it won't. He still had a buddy helping him out. But with the late mid play was a thorn in the back.
2 and 10 right now. Sova.
What an unbelievable reveal. And thank you so much for popping that in the replay. There was no need. And otherwise, very impressive round from Rian's as he picks up that 3-piece and a round for the side of Heretics. You have to question Serial going back out. You hear the bang of the outlaw. You know you've got low shields. You say, I'm going to swing and trade you. Well, there are 2 barrels to that sniper rifle.
Yeah.
And it fires quite quickly indeed.
Hey, he's been hitting headies. I appreciate the confidence, but that confidence may end up being their undoing. Right now, it's been a very aggressive defensive side. We talked about how difficult it can be to walk into
เฮ้ยอะไรวะนะ
these sort of defensive crossfires. Well, so far, I don't think they've really been challenged to do so. A lot of it has been Liquid trying to get up in their face, pressure them, and that's exactly what they're doing now. In this sort of round, it's kind of expected with the weaknesses, the vulnerabilities, and Rian's
นักสู้อะ
he's eco-farming again.
If Rian's was a little bit further forward, if he doesn't react as quickly as he does to that paranoia, this round was in a lot of trouble. The pressure put on B, so many players rotated in there for Team Liquid, and those pistols coming around would have been upgraded quite quickly indeed, but nothing goes the way of Team Liquid beyond that first pick. And 9 rounds now on the board, as expected. Team Liquid have been able to find themselves a couple rounds in that first half. We thought it would be enough to close out, but 1 out of 5 so far.
One more kill. He has double anyone else in the whole server.
1 enemy remaining.
Yep.
We're going into round 18. Like, it's genuinely, like, sure.
This looks like a ranked game, that you see those kind of 25
ที่เหรียญเขายิงอย่างเยอะดู ลั่นทุ่ง
15 ตาย 10 นี่แหละสรรพคุณทีมที่จะประสบความสำเร็จ
As I said, he didn't have much to do in
ผัดกันยิง
map number 1, kind of along for the ride, but on this map, Liquid's choice, one where they were definitely favored. Well, Camo's at least going to kick things off, but the response, even while into a smoke, dashing away, Miniboo is quick enough. It is Benji down. There's a good player to take out, but
แม่งแดดอัด
at the loss of Camo,
แม่งแดดอัด
but
กำแพง
again, it's an aggressive stance. That's his sort of role within this. The rest of the team, you expect to have that util, that delay, and with the ultimates that they have available to them, it kind of needs to be a Liquid round. Otherwise, it does feel like Heretics have almost just got this in the bag.
Well, Heretics already scoring, what, double the rounds on the attack than every other game for Team Liquid on this, 2 other games combined. This has been an impressive display from this attacking side. A
Ow,
big
Ninja.
push by Miniboo. But Kiko manages to slip out of his grasp. That's not quite so lucky as Wu takes him down, and the quick trade as Miniboo eventually finishes off
ได้ด้วยเหรอวะท่ามัน
a 2 versus 2 we're left in. A plant needed
30 seconds
by
left.
Heretics. Hunter's Fury from Rian's already used, but
J-
to be
light up
honest,
in it.
him being alive is enough for me to believe. Nice shot.
Spike
Surprised
planted.
we don't see. Okay, Annihilation used a little bit later. He's
Mark
almost
up.
using it just to try and target players that he has caught.
Ui,
one,
ôi,
and we'll
serial.
get a second as well. It's
ผม
finally
นึกว่ามันจะไลฟ์อัพแบบ
worked
หันมองขึ้นไปข้างบนอะ
Serial.
ที่ใน
That
YouTube
always felt like his undoing the
ลงข้างเจน
entirety of this map thus far,
ในที่สุด
but has put it to play, and he will do the rest. 9-9, scoreline
ผม
equalized.
ยังงงในคามู
I
ลิ Liquid
was
looking to build.
certain we were going to
He
see Rian
had
just
you,
one
yeah.
tap him as
Yes.
soon as that ult was popped.
Especially because he seems to be allergic to bouncing it.
Yeah.
Which is the weird thing. You
gotta
know the
see.
guy's planting, you know roughly where he's doing it. But yeah, he just wants to like shoot it. He's
Get
using
in.
it as like a showstopper. It's a very weird way to do it. Of course, for Woot, that is his 1,000th kill in the VCT, which when you consider how late he actually joined even for this team, that is absurd.
ทำไมฮิโกะมัน
he
ฟอร์มดรอป
literally
ของมัน
what?
ที
It wasn't even there at the beginning because of how things were going.
Well, that's Wood hitting his 1,000 kill mark as a DRX attempt. Big push coming through from
Yeah,
Team
no,
Liquid.
no.
Benji's waiting for it. He's already caught two on the main push. Is he ready for Camo? He will be if the ult gives him info in time. There is the info. But Camo's moved quickly. Still, enough of a distraction caused on that side that now A is not quite wide open. In fact, the ult is going to stop the further aggression. It's going to cause problems for the player now stuck on site. Never mind. Wood is quick on the trigger, leaving Camo to do it all. He's already picked off two. And Ace, the entirety of Team Heretics have to fall in his hands, or double digits will be found by Heretics, and this attack side win streak will continue.
His first battle was with the window.
Spike planted.
The rest might be a little bit tougher. 3 to find, and they're just not going to give him anything.
ไม่ออกเลย
Peak
ครับ
here would be an
โคตรเหนียว
unnecessary risk that
ออกชัวร์
you
ครับ
just don't expect to see from players of
ยั
their
งชัวร์
caliber. And you could witness that he had to make a
โคต
move,
รเป๊ะ
had to make a play. The back and forth continues. The problem, though, is that this back and forth hasn't really been doing much damage to the side of Heretics. Their economy still in a good spot, and their ultimates almost getting back online rather than dissipating. And for the other side of things, well, they invested a Blade Storm, they invested
มันเห็นได้ยังไง
Armageddon
วะ
into this one, and they get nothing for both.
Really well played by Banshee as well, being able to contain that push coming towards him from two different angles. A Blade Storm even thrown at him. An ult that would be very much appreciated by Team Liquid in a round like this. 10-9, the biggest challenge that Team Liquid have seen on their defensive side by an order of magnitude. And now they come into this having lost 5 of the 7 rounds we've seen played out with a timeout. They'll be going into an eco or a low buy afterwards unless this is a brazen force attempt, and Lohan's looking stressed. This could be the 2-0 start for Heretics with their pick of Icebox up next. The beginning of the end spelled out in front of Liquid as 11-9 is the scoreline they'll likely have to battle back from.
And this was, like, looking at the pool, other than maybe a split, this was probably the safest pick that was going to be there for the side of Liquid. This was a defensive side that we were sort of marveling about. We were talking about how impressive this defense had been, how teams had struggled to get anything done. 2 rounds of everything played, and well, as you mentioned earlier, the duels between Benji and Nats had only ever gone one way. I don't think that's going to be the story today, unless maybe you flip the names.
Yeah, I think it might be about right the other way around. The story is of Rian's 26-12 at the moment.
He's kind of good.
An unbelievable display, digging deep in a moment in a map where they need it more than ever. Team Liquid struggling, and Nats traded out quickly.
กายแยกล่าง
Thought that could have been a change of pace. Pressure put on A, big play up on B, but instead this push comes into empty space as Team Heretics gear up for this A take that is right now for free.
Oh, and see, Woot's coming back. He's just decided, you know what? I don't like being the second best Turkish player in the server at the moment, so I'm going to try and find some players as they run away, and where you just look at the A site, there's nobody there. Only really looking for sound cues. I think realizing with the drone that, okay, there's a few dangerous positions we're yet to check, but from here on out, it should be comfortable. The only player I'm really looking at is Serial. He's been having a great performance. A lot of it has been individual brilliance and headshots, and hey, almost working
ถ้ามัน
out
ยิง
with
อีกลูกหนึ่ง
salvos.
ไง
But almost in a round like this doesn't really win you
เป็น
anything.
เรื่องนะแล้วก็ตูทาง
All or nothing in this round here. Paranoia thrown through. It's not
แข่ง
caught.
โผล่น้องเมื่อกี้
And we come back to the weaponry they've got. Time delay, all that Heretics need to go for it. Spike plant nice and open. Woot. He's taking a risk.
แมปหน้าคาโมเกโคสบาย
One up top. They've got main control, they've got heaven, they've got players on site. Spreading themselves thin against these pistols. But it seems like Team Liquid, they won't be going for this. They'll be containing. They'll be looking to cause damage. Keep that economy modest, and for some players, it is getting a little out of hand. One maybe. No, nothing for Cyril on the way out. That's Woot with a 4-piece. A lot of pistols that he was up against. Once he's hit that 1,000 kill mark, he just keeps on running. 11-9. This is what they will have discussed in the pause for Team Liquid. This is one of their, if not the last chance.
จริงๆถ้ามัน
for them to
3-0
have a
ที่ผม
map
ไปเล่น
we
สตาร์
came
ดิวต่อ
into
เลย
nearly certain
น่าจะมีเวลา
they
เล
would
ย
show up on, especially after the 5-0 start.
Yeah, the way that they kicked off this map, it was looking like a done deal. Very calm, collected, and as it was mentioned on the Edge map, they need to play the attack side with the comp, but they got more than enough rounds. The funny thing is the defensive side that at the moment is letting them down. The operator being brought in is a change. They've tried to get aggressive into middle to no avail. Well, it's a change of pace altogether from this attack side. Nats, he's been overwhelmed in a lot of scenarios. Well, he's overwhelmed again. Woo, continuing the form of the last round. 4 in that one, 2 far more high impact ones in this.
Now that off time to jump. Good in the early round, good when posted up. It has to fight back into the space. It's going to clear all these angles. The trade's not easy to find, but they've caught Benji unaware.
ว่าแล้วเคยอยู่ทีมเก่าด้วยกัน
Off
รัก
the
ไก่
reveal,
เก่ง
not quite working out, but Mini Boo drops camo. That's the op on the ground. Unlikely to be recovered as they seek to battle it out with the
GG
rifle.
ว่ะ 3-0
But it's Heretics winning that battle with flying colors and 3 chances to close out Team Liquid's map pick. Last time they faced
ที่ใหญ่
in
กลับ
the
มาแล้ว
BO5 or faced at all, it was 3-0 in the other direction. But what a difference time has made to this battle.
Across 3 maps, managing just 15 rounds. It was a dominant display
ป้าจัดอ่ะ
from Liquid. And bear in mind, that was for qualification to Bangkok as well. That was that was basically Panatek sending or leaving the Heretics boys at home. This time, a spot in the final awaits, a battle for a trophy, something Heretics have been looking for a long time, but they've still got a way to go just yet. Kiko stepping up alongside
เหลื
Camo.
อพี่เหลียงคนเดียว
They might be bleeding, but this roster has proven before
สไปไปด้วยครับ
that until you hit 13, the map is not done.
The man left alive as well. In some series, we'd look at this and go, well, at least it's not Mini Boo. At least it's not Benji. But by God, Rienz has hit godlike form.
I'll be honest, I never think that. Anytime it's Rienz, I'm scared. This guy's too good.
A plant here gets him a Hunter's Fury. The glass broken, they know where he is. The push up from Camo as well. He's going to have players coming in from the top and the bottom of the map. The reveal, though, he's trying to bait them in. This is beautiful. They're slow as well. They're not giving them the opportunities. I like this
ไม่
with
วางไม่อ
the
อก
discipline on display.
เอาชัวร์นี่
There's
ว่า
no
หรือว่า
need
หา
to get aggressive. You have so much utility. You have the net available.
They go.
You can even go in
แล้วนี่ยิงเสือกออกวางง
the
ง
entry sensor if you need,
ไม่เอามาแต่
but
แร
it's
ก
not going to be the case. They catch him
Lên
before he
timing
can
chật
really
à.
become too dangerous before he hits his full peak power.
งงว่ะ
But it's another single round in the blip of many. And I don't mind the idea. It feels like Heretics were just on a steamroll. I'm just going, okay, let's just try this once more. Running into the A side, they won't expect it again. We've been able to overwhelm Nats. Like, Nats is 11 and 19, which it's not the
เน้นก่อน
worst
ปิดวินให้ได้
statistical.
ขอปิดวินให้แป๊บหนึ่ง
จริงๆ3-0 ก็ดีนะ อยากเล่นเกม
I think that's why we've after just a singular round go, yeah, let's pause. Let's make sure that whatever we're about to do.
Cases for Heretics in partnership, 15 for Liquid. Sometimes they've needed those. You look at this though. Look at the score line on the bottom.
Ends up on today.
They haven't been able to chain together 2 rounds. This, somehow, coming into this map, you would not have thought this possible to ask, can they get 2 in a row? On the defense, but Team Liquid have had that problem, and it's a great predictive play from Rians. After the first tag, Kiko is hunted down.
They've used that dimensional drift in tandem to give that opener, removing one player from action. But the trip in a sneaky spot has managed to even things up. Camo even looking to go back in, reclaim space, get into position once more, turning things back into an advantageous position alongside Panitek, leaving just Miniboo standing. They used their ultimates. They threw everything into this one. And just look at the patience from Liquid. They know once again, hey, I give this guy an individual fight, maybe my head goes missing, maybe I give them a way back into this round. But if we stick together, he doesn't stand a chance.
Net and Salvos to work with. No gate crash either for Miniboo. Sometimes he could go tap it on A and take his gate crash over to B. Got none left to put down. The rotation is going to be a long one. And Team Liquid sitting outside the entry of A, waiting to throw that utility through and end this round. Well, they're going to have to use it to clear out space because this read is good. Now, there's still a sensor in play. He's going to have to walk past it. Probably going to get caught by it. No, it makes it through the corner as well. But it does give the info to Team Liquid. They now know where the hit's coming through. They can hopefully contain him on that side.
Yeah, I wonder if the giant shotgun is going to be brought out by Serial. Might end up being his demise, but looking to try and run through, clearing the few angles that are left, but you'd hope that this one wouldn't go unchecked. Miniboo in a bit of a sneaky spot. They've all got past him. 2 already go his way. It's a mistake from Liquid that might just be the end of the map. Camo trying to bet.
อย่าลูก
บุกด้วย
เหี้ยเป็นไงล่ะ มินิบูคัท
เหี้ยขอเดินไปบุกด้วย
โหดจัด
ป้าจัดโหมันโหดจังวะ
ของจริง
1-3 เอาไม่ลงอ่ะ
มันให้แบบตัว1ตัว2เร็วมากบึ้งไง
ไม่ขอรอยยิ้มจากเพื่อนๆด้วยแต่เพื่อนๆโดนขโมยไปหมดแล้ว
ล่ารอยยิ้มมันคิดว่ายังอยู่ในไซส์มั้ง
โอ้หวานเจี๊ยบ
มี30อะบอกเลยดูวันนี้พี่เอ๋จะโคตรแม่น
เพิ่งแตกไปเนี่ยโมทีฟโอ้ยไม่ครับจบนี้ก็พักแล้วครับผมรอทีปตายไปเลย
ดู
คิดว่า30นะแมปหน้านี่คือแบบโจ๊กเลยอ่ะลิควิดอ่ะINA เหรอ EWC อ่ะนะแป๊บหนึ่งโอ้โห100ทิปแน่นอน NRG คนใหม่ครับได้ลงตัวเท่าไหร่ ทียังไม่พร้อม100ทิป20
100 ทีม20
KRU วันนี้ KRU หนักมากเพิ่งเปลี่ยนคนมา ยังไม่พร้อม
เฮ้ยแต่ KRU มันโหดอยู่นะ
มันเปลี่ยน2 คนอ่ะผมยิงไม่อยู่นะ วันนี้4-9แบบงานง่ายเซปป้ายืนเล่น20เลเวนทานไลน์อัพใหม่2 คนฟูเรียกำลังเมาหมัดอยู่เปลี่ยนคนเหมือนกันฟูเรียจะเก็บสถิติลูสติกเลเวนทาน20ไม่รู้เคสนิดไปไหนตอนนี้
เอ็นนินไม่เล่นแล้วเหรอ
ไม่มีชื่อมันอ่ะ แต่วันนี้ไทย EWC มีไปผิดคู่เดียว เกือบแล้วคาถาวันนี้นิดเดียว วันนี้ฟุตตกไปทอบแบบ20อ่ะ13-6 13-6อ่ะ
ไวทอลไม่ไหว
ไว
แล้ว
ทอไม่ไหวแล้วอะ
หรือการมาของไอ้ไซบอร์กมันไม่ดีเหรอวะ มันดูเก่งขึ้นนะทีมอะแต่คนอื่นดูดรอปลงหมดเลยเพราะอะไรวะ
ใช่
ไอ้ไซบอร์กมันก็ไม่ได้เล่นแย่นะผมว่ามันทำไมทีมมันดูแบบ
นายบอกไม่ได้เล่นแย่เลย
การมาของไซบอร์กคือการอัปเกรดนะแต่ทีมเป็นสึกดาวเกรดตัวเองกันหมดเลย งง ส่วนวาโลนี่จบไปคิกออฟเฮ้ยแต่ตอนมันไปมาสเตอร์มันก็ฟอร์มดีจัดเลยนะ
User disconnected from your channel.
ไปดูสถิติซูชิบอยมา แตกโมทีฟวันนี้
หลังจากวางมวยภาพก็เปลี่ยนเกมให้จบ3-0กันนะอยากเล่นเกมมาแล้ววะ
And so serial. They're listening to this speech right now, and let's see in the agent select if we do see any changes. No, they choose not to go back to the Tejo. Is this a mistake?
I want to see if maybe some of the ideas that they had yesterday they couldn't pass through because of Fnatic changing a couple of things and having a good map. And I want to see if that makes a difference into today because Riens is a brilliant Sova. That is something that you cannot never not account for. On the other side, Patitek, again, I think he did very, very well on Ascend and his utility was having a lot of effect. And I think he's going to be, has to be the one shutting down Team Heretics.
It's going to be annoying, right, Petra, the KO?
Yeah, it's annoying, but I definitely think it's very good to work around. It's not the end of it.
Yeah, Liquid have a chance. They have a good chance. I mean, if they do win here, I'm going to start being a little bit scared for Team Heretics. They have to defeat their demons, Mitch and Tom, at some point this tournament.
The 3-0 revenge for Team Heretics. Desolation for Liquid, who've looked otherwise very good, but after that first map, who knows what we're gonna see here on Icebox. This is the choice of Team Heretics, the second pick that they went for, Tom, after what we've just seen, map 1 and map 2 in Team Heretics' pocket. What are your expectations for Icebox?
The thing is, we end up in more of a middle ground. I think they were undone when they tried to play this when facing off against Fnatic. I think Fnatic had a very good game plan of isolating Benji Fishy. Like we saw that regularly, like constantly pick him out of those lurks on the attack side. I want to see if that's something that Liquid have been able to pinpoint as easily, and more so has there been adaptations. The other thing that was to note for Heretics was Minibu had a really rough map. That hasn't really happened so far throughout the series. He's looked very good, and if he's firing on all cylinders, I don't think it matters what Liquid do.
Well, that is a scary thought for Team Liquid coming out of this BO5 without a map under their belt. Now looks like a possibility when Ascent was a surefire win for them coming into it. Team Heretics on the attack and a lot of utility waiting for them on that A site. Players just outside. Now they've got a good idea where the hit's coming through. Miniboo not deterred by that util. The suppression nor the decay will keep him back. He grabs an opening.
Already passed the nano swarms. I don't think they expected them to be that deep into the site already. It was a quasi flood position from the defense. Hoping to get in a little bit early. Instead, they've taken a hefty amount of damage, and on the other side, Miniboo is as fine and dandy as ever. Woot is going to add another to the death toll. This is looking rough for Liquid in the pistol, and they've got to try and get past Miniboo and the full force of this defense at this stage. The wraparound, okay, it's not pretty, but there's only one man left standing. Serial to do it all, at least with a couple of the remaining two. They're just playing post.
Yeah, and there's no need to overextend at this point. Serial already low, time on their side. The defuse out in the open. An easy connect as Benji already sees it's not being stuck. Now the time more so in their favor. Benji wants to shut it down. 1-0 for Team Heretics, a pistol as they claim the first here on Icebox. This map will be enough to end the series.
Yeah, Wood.
Difficult team to play against. There's not many that are able to successfully run this Neon, but when it works for this squad, it definitely works fantastically well. I also think Woot moving over to this Gecko has been enjoyable. Like him being able to play these more aggressive flashes, put himself into aggressive positions. The same can be said for Camo though. I feel like it's one that can work quite nicely for duelist players. And allows Patty to play the agent that sort of, I want to say not made him famous, but got him back to the position we know he could be when playing as a stand-in for the Heretic squad. This round at least a few no-scopes for Boo. All about building up those orbs.
One thing we talked about extensively was just Banshee, not just on this map in their last series up against Fnatic, but in this last time that they played as well. The fact that Nats was shutting him down consistently. I've just checked for the first two maps. Benji's +7 against Nats, +9 against Serial. I mean, he has been dishing out death across the board, and it looks like
good.
Yeah, he absolutely has. But when he faces off against Benji, it's a different story. He's only taken him down one time so far. We see a near flawless round. Serial, the only one to pipe up, dropping Miniboo. But still 4 players left to take down.
This is sort of what I'm talking about with the Woot flashes. Is something I want people to keep an eye on throughout the map. Like, you know that there's going to be a lot of the time a sort of more passive Gecko where you're throwing flashes for other people. Woot is not doing that. He is throwing a flash and then he gets the kill himself. He's assisting his own kills with this sort of aggressive play. It is almost added in as this secondary duelist, even when it's not, because you're still going to be the one planting the spike. For Boo, this round has definitely helped with earning up those orbs, but I'm looking more so towards Woot. One away from having the Thrash already, and for Liquid, this will be the rifles, but as mentioned, the differences in the two teams' bonus rounds, Heretics come in with a very strong buy.
Yeah, there's not 3 pistols backing up a couple of recovered pieces or carried through. This is a very strong buy indeed for Heretics. In fact, it gives them that basically back-to-back full buy. For Team Liquid, your challenge early on is the defensive side on the B site is about to be, well, looks like it's about to be pressured. 3 players there, Spike is there, Benji's gearing up for that flank play, but there might be an attempt to draw a rotation or even just to read what is going on, what the play is from Liquid, because you've still got Boo sitting outside the A site, waiting for a play that is just now coming through. And he hears those rotations, he's heard the steps away. They know that this fake has worked towards B. Will they claim the A space or look to take everybody down?
There's multiple layers to the lurk, but at this, at this stage, I was going to say they're walking into the stack, but it's Miniboo that's just been spammed out through the smoke. Extra util becoming problematic to hold them back, and now we finally start to see them make their move. Turret being destroyed, but if anything, that kind of gives the game away that there's still players on that other side of the map. It's an opening pick for Liquid, but
30 seconds left.
They will be having to play versus that post plant. And I actually think this is where, well, that ultimate for Woot can become so much more dangerous if he can catch a couple of players with it.
Rotate from Liquid. He's caught Benji at least. The snake in the grass dealt with. Inside the few rifles. Woot not really given an opportunity with everyone coming in up top. Boo does well, finding the first, isolating the second, and the rest of the squad steps up. Thrash will be sent out. Panatek, he's up top, he's safe, and isolating finds, but Woot from the rope takes him down. They crumble at the hands of this attacking side, even after the opening pick. Team Liquid, they're stalling out, 3-0 down.
A little bit slow. Like, I think it was the flash thrown by Panatek. I'm not sure if it was a Thrash, it was just thrown to basically slow them down a little bit, but Boo underneath was completely blind, and it was only after he got his vision back that anybody went to peek him. Just a little bit too slow on the reaction.
Nice, guys.
Well, Woot's off to a flying start. 6-1.
บอกเลยว่าอย่างนี้ยาว
Obviously getting all those additional orbs from planting as well. And when you are up against map and series point at the best of 5, obviously sending them out, but already with that qualification to Toronto. 3 players currently on the goose egg, 0 kills.
วินแบบนี้มันแบบเชอร์ลิฟเกาะเต็มเลย
if you're a Liquid
แล้วเงิน
fan.
ก็แบบน้อยกว่าเพื่อนอะซีเรียลอะ
Bear in mind they started 5-0 on the last map, it's still lost.
Yeah.
แนทไม่สอนหรอ
And we said it in the last one. Once that ball gets rolling for Heretics, it's difficult. There were a few bumps in the road, but around here or there on Team Liquid's ascent defensive side, it's unheard of. Sprinkling them in amongst the feet. Good thing about this one is huge read from Team Liquid, or just a huge gamble. 4 players in position, and Heretics are running right into it. Lots of pistols, and they might not pose much danger alone.
I think they have the info though. Like at this point, at least 2 or 3 players have been spotted on this side of the map, but it's almost coming down to a level of disrespect. They want to buy into this. Even seeing players on the wraparound, but it doesn't seem to matter. They have walked into the full force of this squad and still seemingly coming out on top. 3 players alive, and well, eventually Benji's there to finish them off. As you said, it was a good read or a good stack up from the side of Liquid, but they still only got 2 kills.
Even the wall couldn't save Nats from Benji. Now he is out for revenge in that battle, dropping Nats yet again, putting 4-0 on the board. Like you said, this stack, it looked dangerous. The pistols with numbers, that's where they pose a serious threat.
ก็ลิงก์ของ
But in the end, there was nothing to be scared of if your team
วันนี้
Heretics.
ข่มไม่ได้เป็นน้อง
Wonderful stuff by Benji to close that out.
Let's go,
With smiles all around in the Heretics camp, it feels like they are gearing up for this 3-0. The rifle round now stands in their way. A full buy for Team Liquid. And even on Haven, but they didn't win a lot of rounds. There were a lot of rounds that came close. Can't count them out.
Okay, maybe there's a chance for Panatek to get another bite of the cherry.
So,
Miniboo doesn't seem to want to allow it. I said, if this guy gets going, it really does feel like a done deal, and Orian's just even putting a couple of shots in. They won't get there in time to actually save Panatek, so he's gone from the fight, but this attack site will have to fall off. The lockdown is going to force them away. One player will get caught, but look at the defense. They've all gathered up together. They are looking to try and fight this, and the attacker just waiting for them here.
ๆนั้นมันหิว
expected it to be a rotation. They thought they'd give it up. The lockdown, it might have pushed them back, but they were not out of this round
บอมยังไม่
waiting.
ได้วางเลย
As the end zone flawless is locked in, the ult used by Team Liquid, the rifles in play. It is a sweeping, resounding victory for the attack side. Now 5-0, a scoreline we saw Liquid with on the previous map. But one that so far it feels like only Heretics can come back from.
Yeah, it's going to be that pause taken, and you can understand why. An attempted mid-round from Liquid that has fallen completely flat. They've walked into the blender, and we are still sat with only 2 players, Panatek and Serial, to even be on the board at the moment for Liquid. The other 3 are yet to find anything. Kiko obviously picking up the solo duelist for this map, hasn't really managed to find that level of form, and when there's a shot at the trophy online, of course, we saw Liquid have an advantage and crumble.
สมมติว่าดู
We saw them dominate the lower final last time around, but
คน2 คนน่ะ
the story has always been
ไม่ธรรม
about
ดา
Heretics finally
ของฮิลิติก
getting
แบ
a
บ
trophy under their belt. Sure, the internationals are ones that I think most people are mentioning, but even regionally, the expectation is that this squad should have already won something. The first time they faced up against Fnatic,
แชมป์บอกว่าแชมป์มาจากสายล่าง
they were the favorites. And now they're looking to try and
เชื่อมั่น
get,
อยู่
get revenge on the squad that sent them to the lower bracket, maybe only for a moment.
Well, I think those stats might have changed
พี่บูบทจะ
going
ผม
into
คงจะ
this series.
ก็มาบ้าง
Perfectly balanced when it comes to 5v4s, almost the same win rate. Doesn't quite feel like the same here. Heretics looking like the better team. 2 maps under their belt. Opening pick goes to Kiko. A second as well. This can't be a round that they let slip, but if they had rifles, I might believe The rest of the squad has pistols. Benji has taken down
เบนจี
Nats,
เบนจี
where previously he was the one being caught out on those mid lurks. This time he's the one to find that pick that equalizes, and with the lack of weaponry, gives them the advantage.
Fortunately, that rifle just wasn't recoverable, at least yet.
โดนบีของลืมเลย
Utility being left towards the B site as at least a little bit of additional information can be had, and it does mean that both
ต่อ
Serial and Camo will be in position. Even just the beginning of this round being a little bit of a confidence booster. Kiko's first kills onto the board, but there's still so much more that needs to be had, and while dealing with Miniboo can be far more difficult. Even just pops the ult, maybe just for a little bit of a flex. Seemed like he already had the kills in the bag, but just wanted to make sure there was no way of getting back into this round. Panatek, he's been good, Mitch. But this is a little bit different versus his old squad.
Yeah, it really is. With just a sheriff as well. Hell, give him a rifle and maybe he's got a chance. But they've got that spike planted, time on their side, flash dodged, and the big swing from Miniboo. A 4K and 6-0 for Team Heretics. It seemed like there was a bit of a bump in the road with the early fight. Camo getting himself, or sorry, Kiko getting himself on the board. Should be the other way. But an immediate recovery, and again, once that one rifle goes down, you know that the odds swap right back into Heretics' favor.
One enemy remains.
This is likely the round
นี่
that
ละสอง
was
นัดแวนดอลมัน
being built for. With a blade storm available for Kiko. Other than that, the ults are a little bit further away. Camo would like to get an orb here just to have the thrash available. More interestingly,
ที่จับสไนค
Benji
รับ
Fish, he's out watching with an operator into mid.
ปืนกลโกงไปกำลังเข้ามือ
Looking for that contact.
แม่งเอ้ย
เดี๋ยวไม่บาลานซ์
Anybody tries to
Ôi,
aggress
đúng rồi quá.
instead, they're grouped up in this ball.
น่าจะดีก็ได้นะ
Around the
พี่
A side once again, but
เดี๋ยวรอดู
Heretics are very happy to just stall. The pop flash will go through. Maybe a little bit of a sound cue to at least give them the idea that somebody is around this corner.
Nice flash. Kiko's going to be swinging, so is Camo. Good opportunity as they force the fight onto Kiko.
Oh, my
Camo
God.
almost had one, but
Ui.
he couldn't quite connect. Miniboo surviving late is good for the trade, and the op up top
Chill,
picks
just-
off Patatek. That's the A-side hold, crumbled. Nats fills in the gap, but he'll get
มาเมือ
nothing.
ก็เอาไม่อยู่แล้วจังหวะเนี้ยบอกเลย
Heretics! They are
หลับเลยครับ
destroying
3-0
Team Liquid in every round we've seen. It feels like their hands are on the reins and a few fingers may ease up, but their death grip is going nowhere. A 4 versus 1. And as good as Serial's been, close to an ace earlier, I don't think this one's going his way. He catches Benji.
เป็นโด
Needs
ต้า
so
ทีม
much more.
เราป้อมระเบิดเลย
He won't even be trying it. In fact, who's looking to hunt him down?
Oh, why not? Credits are
He's maxed.
almost maxed out for Boo. It will be after this round ends, so it's not really like he's got anything to lose. The same for Miniboo and for Rien, so why not throw a gun or two into the wind just to try and, well, remove the guns, but also just make this even more of a downer for a side of Liquid. The last few seconds will just result in that survival. But this has been the impressive thing. You go into a best of 5, okay, map 1. Maybe you want to start on a strong foot, you dominate. Your opponent gets their choice, you have the same expectation. Wasn't the case. Felt like it would be. Map number 3, you're getting into the middle ground. To hell, this ain't a middle ground. This does not. This feels more dominant than the first map. They've been
really
so
does.
clean with it, and the worst thing is in this round at least, this looked like the setup. Like Liquid had that initial flash, it gave them the information, then they have the double flash. It's so difficult to dodge the pop flash from KO and Gecko at the same time. But they just don't hit the shots.
I mean, the re-aggression on main might have worked. In fact, he even got the pick, but it's the fact Miniboo's still alive up top. Instant trade. And now the rounds crumbled. With Patatek falling after, there was no road to recovery. The defenders, 4 players in position. A rifle for Serial, a bulldog for Camo, but the
โอ้โห
rest,
แล้วปักแบบ
they've got nothing. And they will be forced
ต้องแบบ
into
ว่า
a
ผม
retake. The
ไปเลย
side
นะ
take
ออกไปให้หมด
in full effect.
Fuck,
Blue has a
okay,
Viper's
liar.
pit, but it might not even be the round to use it. We'll see.
I think the lockdown was they know that there's a bit of a gamble potentially on this side of the map. In fact, A lot being expended in this scenario. The attack ascending through way more than I would have expected. They even use a Hunter's Fury in the mix. They just want to make sure this round goes over the line. It's not even that much of an investment from the side of Liquid, but it's almost like Heretics just wanted to kick them while they're down.
Boo just sat around the corner. No need to take a fight, letting his teammates clean them up inside the pit. A phenomenal display from Heretics with 8 rounds now in a row. By far the most dominant start to a map. And it feels like there's no hope for Team Liquid. They have got a massive climb back needed. And indeed, coming into round 9, it was map 1, round 7. They had used all of their pauses coming out of it. Going into round 8, now going into round 9, it's the same story on map number 3. Desperation for Team Liquid.
And the most surprising thing of all is Nats 0 and 8. Like find me another game of Icebox when Nats is having that much of a troublesome time, but it does come with the leadership. When things go well, you can kind of focus that a little bit more on your individual ability. When the synergy is there, when you have that little bit of extra help, when everything's going badly, that's where you almost have to focus off your own game. But then again, you think about it, a lot of the time he's that B anchor. They really haven't gone B that much. This A execution has been an execution. And for the side of Heretics, what if you took this round in isolation and you told me versus a low buy, they used a lockdown, a Viper's Pit, and a Hunter's Fury, I've been like, they're nuts. That's so many ultimates to throw in, but you're 8-0 up. I feel like they just want that death-dealing blow already.
And a thrash, I think, too.
Potentially.
I think they put all 4 in. Which is quite something. These teams, it was hard to separate them when it came to the stats. In the past, it wasn't too hard to separate them. Liquid with a resounding 3-0 victory. Many 13-4s and, what was it, a 13-7 in that mix. They looked like the better team last time they faced, but that has changed. This lower bracket final seems to be the end of the line in stage 1 for Team Liquid. 8-0. An unbelievable turnaround needed.
Better hope that whatever speech has come out from Nats, from Lion, from Yaltsin, is maybe the best one they've ever had. This is the furthest behind they've probably ever been in a series. Come out of it with a victory. Padatek looking to take point. Mid-control completely taken. And interestingly, a lurk from Whoop on the A site. It's not normally the player you'd expect to see. Normally the man to plant the spike, but maybe that's the plan. To really sell the ruse. There's still 3 players and a 4th lurking in mid. There is nobody really remaining on this side. That might be because there's an idea to go back. That could be a problem with how far forward Kiko is.
Yeah, I don't know what the play is here. It looks like Heretics pump faking to take light A space. The Woot will be the one lurking up. He's doing that right now. Taking that control, sending out Wingman. Is this a fake to drag them off of B? The double fake from Team Heretics? They're not going back. But in fact, Team Liquid have not gone back either. They've not fallen away. Boo goes down, spikes on the floor, picked up, and now an attempt to plant it. It looks like that's a success. 3 versus 4, numbers not in their favor, but Miniboo manages to pull one back. Padatek is down, Rienz is low. In fact, he's down and out of the round. It's all on Miniboo. But a 1v2, a very winnable scenario from what seemed questionable moments ago. But in the end, Team Liquid will get it across the line.
คนใหม่มาตอนแรกฟอร์มดีนะตอนนี้ฟอร์มดรอปไม่รู้
return
เกิดอะไรขึ้นน่าจะเป็น
An
ปัญหาทีม
important read more so. I don't mind the idea from Heretics. Like you throw in your Gecko, you throw in the Wingman just to try and sell the idea that, okay, well, if Wingman's running into the site, that's probably for a plant, but they didn't fall for it. They knew that there were many players around. A lot of that could be down to the deep mid control that was taken by Camo, by Kiko. The amount of space that he had into mid is enough for them to hold the line on this side of the map.
Nice, good job.
Finally finding that first round on the defensive side. It is a long road back. And as mentioned, no more touches in with the coaches. They're alone for this one.
Turret has to be broken. I like it. Kiko waiting for the peak, hoping to punish Benji. Doesn't work out this time. They'll back off from that early control. Now, Team Heretics, they already played that fake B into an A push. They're trying to bait it out, but it was the aggressive position from Kiko that gets them so much control. Now the Viper's Pit. When A has been working, you're going to pop this early, wanting to keep that control. A player pushed up close in it as well is Serial. He's got a gap. He's safe inside that pit for now. And for Team Heretics, getting him out of position, now that that nano is gone, will be tough. They'll be decayed as they make their way in.
Popped his own nano to try and sell the idea that he wasn't somewhere on the site. Oh, that was almost Nat's gone. That would have been the pit down. Instead, they planted just on the edge of it. Boo gone. Woot still standing, hiding on the edge. I don't know how he's still alive, but he's managed to get out of there with full HP. Gives them a man advantage and goes back for more. Woot in form is devastating, and Benji holds his back. It's going to be left all onto Serial. And it takes a monstrous clutch to give them their second round.
The light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps. Team Liquid, they've been down for 8 rounds in a row, but a return to form now. 2 in a row, much more needed. But this half, finally seeing some more hope. The good read, the player guarding outside of that pit as well, necessary, or this would have been a very different round. But what a play by Woot. It seemed like that was enough to take it across the line.
Michael. Good job, guys.
But Serial again digging deep when he's needed the most. He has been
ทำไมวันนี้รู้สึกไอซีเรียลมัน
hope here on this map in this series as well for Team Liquid going back to a lot of big rounds.
เพื่อนไม่จอยเท่าไหร่
Pace
เพื่อนไม่จอย
Just so much pressure put onto Camo.
นี่ได้0.8 อ่ะ
He's got Kiko alongside him at least, who has been able to survive and in fact even add another. Making things at least even after what was an attempted blitz
จ
through.
ริงๆไอ้กิโกะมันควรถอดแว่นเล่นวะพี่
Wrong gonna be
ตั้
put
งแต่
up
มันใส่
top.
ดูฟอร์มมันไม่ค่อยดีเลย
That will give the game away onto Panitek's position. Means he can't peek, but Nats is already here alongside him. Again though, Heretics after this
แต่มันดรอปลงจริงนะ
pause.
เรื่อยๆเลยดรอป
Yeah, but
เรื่
they
อย
didn't get to back yellow. Thrash is now denied.
ตอนคิกออฟนี่มันโคตร
Monster
โหด
still one here waiting for that peak, but Woot gets ahead of him.
ๆมองใครได้บ้าง
Fires the shot and takes him out, leaving Team Liquid with the disadvantage.
จริงๆเทียวกำลังฝึกให้ซีเรียลมันเล่นคนเดียวอยู่คัดเลย
The lockdown, not going to put on as much pressure as they would hope. These players safely
โอ้
back
ยื
in
นได้
mid.
อยู่นะ
A lot less ground to fight for, but they try and go ahead of it. But completely blinded is Panitek. He had nowhere left to go. And I want to reiterate what I mentioned earlier in the match. Woot with his own flashes. Like, think about the amount of times where, look, he has 2 assists. How many people do you think have been blinded by the Gecko flash and been killed? I think it's a lot more than 2. And that's because he's just playing it like a duelist. Like, he'll go swinging into angles, he'll throw his own little pop flashes there again, and then retrieves it, and straight back up with another flash. Both the remaining players, he is leaving them blind. 16 and 6 for Woot. We've spoken about this man on initiators, and maybe the fact that sometimes he's lost when not on the duelist. I think this might be the balance.
It looks like it. Setting himself up for success, as he is. The entire squad of Heretics, 2 rounds in a row for Liquid, immediately interrupted. On the attacking side, expecting aggression. They show a little bit of presence towards B. They wait for mid aggro. Players up in spawn even, but no one's seen. No
พี่
one
รู้สึก
the
ว่า
aggression
มัน
means
จะไป
they
เอาคืน
go
ว่ะ
walking up towards A.
เจอ
Now
ว่า
it's
สี่
a
รอบ
late
นี้คิด
double
ว่า
push.
ชนะ
But as the circle fades, you'll see that there's also 1 player up towards the spawn. So A is a little bit lighter for now.
ปอดที่ส
The
อง
utility should bridge the gap.
ปอดละมากที่สองอ่ะ
The other thing that's lighter is just the guns
พอละวันที่ 2
they've only got.
แต่จริงทามมิ่งรอบนี้มัน
Flank is everything.
My ult is ready.
Hunter's Fury
มันควรจะได้แล้วนะ
already bought into play. The turret just playing a tight angle, which will let them know that there's somebody around this position, and Boo is going to go looking for it. The flash leaves him in a bit of an awkward position, doesn't really have the cover for the team, and Rians is looking the wrong way completely. 2 big kills coming up for Liquid, but Woot still standing. Mini Boo alongside him, but Woot's doing it all. This man has been an unstoppable force in this first half and still barely taking a lick of damage. Whereas Camo on the other side down to just 10 HP, it's Woot looking to add another ace to the tally. They may have not had as many as their opponents, but they're getting them all in this
ไม่
series.
หยุดครับ
Damn close to equalize.
Damn son
โอ้โห
ก็จะลงมอดแพ็คให้น้องๆดันอัปเดตไปเพิ่มอีกค่อยลงทีเดียวเลย ยูกิตบอกเดี๋ยวเก็บแรงมาเล่นโตลอนโตแล้วกัน เจอกัน
of team.
ตอนบ่ายพี่เมื่อตอนเย็นพี่ให้ฟูลเซนต์ไปฮะ
ใช่
แต่ก็เกือบอยู่นะ
ไอ้โมทีฟมันโหดจริง
Dominated
ดู
today,
วิธี
but
การ
what a resurgence.
การยืนเซตอัพสกิลแม่งเตรียมมาดีมาก
sentence because I think he's in his final.
เดินคอนแทคตรงไหนก็มีแต่กับดักแบบว่าแม่งพลิกเกมได้ตลอด
ที่ดูสถิติลิควิดไปดูสกอร์
on
ได้
map number 1. It
วันนี้
really
แย่
has
ของแน
just
ท
been a display
ตอนแรก
in the
0-8เท่าไหร่แล้ว
depth
เมื่อ
of
กี้
talent.
1
That talent taken from the tier 2 and lighting up the tier 1. Of course, they're going to go aggressive in the pistol round. Sure, the first kill went Kiko's way, but it's already been a flood back in the other direction. And they're just set up for the retake. A deep alarm bot, which will give the game away. And sure, there'll be a what? Bravo didn't even get to see anything.
This is truly ridiculous. The pistol now a 4v2. Opening pick went to Liquid. From that moment on, it all went wrong. Rien's sat in the background watching the boys find success. Time and time again on this map, it has gone to Heretics. And once more, a round falls in their favor. Team Liquid, 2 rounds versus 11. An unbelievable comeback needed. The odds stacked against them. The question has to be asked, do you take the eco here? 10 rounds in a row for overtime? Do you force buy? I don't know that there's a right call. There's only wrong calls from here.
I think you have to force.
พี่รู้ว่าในประวัติศาสตร์เกมโดต้ามันเคยเล่น BO7 ครั้งหนึ่งที่จีนแล้วไอทีมแรกนำไป 3-0 อีกทีมไม่คัมแบ็กกลับมา 4-0 คือวันนั้นไม่แข่งกันทั้งวัน
That's never going to happen. So they're going to force. And honestly, I think
reverse sweep แบบ4 เกม
you spread the risk slightly, but then look at the buy on the other side. They've come in with 5 bulldogs. They are playing heavy into the rifles, looking to play at range. It's not the prettiest of starts. And honestly, Kiko's done well here. In fact, he's done incredibly well. Look at the HP though.
Yeah, a lot of tags here. Still a chance to pull this back. It's not a standard 4v2. Camo and Kiko, just one shot needed. But Kiko, he's being the snake in the grass now. He's hiding, holding on to control. They're going to clear him. They're going to clear him. That's another pick now for Heretics. The numbers close to equal. Camo, one shot. The rest are healthy. And they've recovered some weapons. Patatek's got a bulldog in hand. Time is ticking away in their favor, and a flash primed and ready for the big swing. The tap now. Oh, it's not even going to come in yet. Oh, great time delay. This is dangerous. That's the rifle. Down and out. Down goes Camo and Serial. He needs another clutch. He's down to 17 HP, and he's gone. Rien's stepping up to the plate. It's 12 rounds found for Heretics. A 2v4 clutch.
ถ้าวาโลไม่เล่น BO7 นี่คือแมปไม่พอ
This is the for Team Liquid.
That one's gonna sting, as if all the others had them before, but this is just the exact sort of round where you realize the depth of talent that is there for Rians. Predicts where one of the players will be. The only reason Padatek's in the open is because 2 shot darts were fired into the exact position he was stood in, and then at the end he's left to defend his buddy as he defuses. And well, anybody who doubted Rians from that point in the round is a moron.
The worst part is if that nano doesn't activate, they tap the spike, flash goes up, we might see the round go the other way.
They're doing it again.
Buy enough time.
They've got slightly more to play with, but there's slightly more players sitting in their way. Kiko needs this pick and he will not get it.
ในวันที่วูดออนไป
They met God Woot once again. Arians is there to close.
ไปเข้ากลับไปทืบเฟนาติก
Welcome to EWC ครับผม
ทำไมผมมีหน้าสอนว่าเป็นจะได้ที่2อีกดอก
เฮ้ย
ทีหนึ่งไม่ไหวรถเฟนาติกเลยนะพี่
วันนี้มันกลับมาแล้วดีฟอร์มแต่ละคน
อ๋อโอเค ไม่ใช่ไปถึงรอบจีโดนแอร์ฟัเจอร์ยิงงอมเหมือนเดิม แล้วฟัเจอร์เขาเป็นอะไรอยู่ดีมันระเบิดโฟมแบบ
เหมือนใกล้แข่งแล้วเอาจริง
เอาว่ะเจอเพื่อนเก่า
นี่ก่อเพื่อนเก่าหน่อยเว้ย
วันนี้ไปเทคแม่งไม่วากเลย แสดงว่าผมวากไม่ลง
เป็นรีแมตช์อันเนี้ย
ไอ้แนนนี่หนักเลย แนนบอกเกิดอะไรขึ้นวะทำไมกูแม่งไม่ได้เล่นเลยวะ โดนให้เวอร์รัว
พรุ่งนี้กลับไปล้างแค้นครับ เจอกัน5 ทุ่มเดี๋ยวตอนเย็นมาดูเปเปอร์เล็กก่อน
แต่ตามเคิร์ดแล้วทีเฮดจะชนะเฟนาติก นิ่งถ้าเป็นวิทย์แม่งเล่น BO5 นะแล้วเจอกับพวกเจนจีหรืออะไรอย่างงี้นะ โอ้โห เตรียมหมอนเตรียมอะไรได้เลยแม่งเล่นอย่างนาน เจอ RQ อย่างเงี้ย RQ เจอวิทย์ แม่งเล่นกับ10 วิท้าย มาดูกันว่าพรุ่งนี้จะเป็นเคิร์ดทีเฮดชนะเฟนาติกหรือจะเป็นเคิร์ดที่2 มีเดินมาช่วยเก็บด้วยใจดีมากอะมาตาดิว เดี๋ยวผมลงธีมขึ้นใหม่นะครับเดี๋ยวใช้ปกเดิมไปก่อน